Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Naruto X Suguha Sword Art Online. Before I start, please support for more amazing content and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by Azure King and Azure Queen and link in description and support writer. Let's start the video. The blonde teen was sighing at the sight, dozens of older men and teens were groaning and crying in pain as he just looked at them with hollowness in his eyes. His light blonde hair that was spiky that might have made others move away due to how it made him more menacing. He wore an orange jacket that was unzipped, showing a black jacket with a red slashes around it, like a beast swipe at it. He wore tan cargo shorts. His eyes were the deepest oceanic blue anyone can ever see in their lives, but sadly they held no emotion, just empty pools of lifeless, unmoving, stoic orbs. Pathetic was all he had to say while walking away. If Kaido wants me to join, then make sure he has better fighters. Standing by, a voice came from Naruto's voice, followed by a melody, some kind of alarm. The blonde boy walked before hearing his phone receiving a mail. She contacted me. Quickly fishing out his phone, the teen immediately went to email app to see that indeed the girl had sent him a message. Unbeknownst to him, he didn't see when one man held a wooden kendo blade ready to hurt the boy. Naruto narrowed his eyes before spinning on the ball of his left foot while raising the other leg to spin kick the man. After hearing a loud crack, he resumed to check his email. NARUTOUZUMAKI 9th. How are you? Mother, has been a hassle of sorts of me talking to you, but I convince her that I'm sending you messages to leave me alone. Still, just 2 more days and we can see each other, and so I really miss you. PS, try not to get into trouble so you won't be grounded when the day is up. Or seeker. Naruto's eyes slowly gained a small measure of happy intent before it swiftly went away as he put his phone back in his pocket. Now it's boring again. Naruto sighed as he reached his home. He looked up to see that tradition Japanese style with a touch of modern sense, but he noticed the solar panels before resuming to walk to his home. After opening the door, he sighed. I'm home. He spoke softly but loud enough to be heard. Oh, Naruto. The blonde eyes shifted as well as his body, almost like a predator moving to attack its prey. However, it wasn't anything interesting. All he saw was a middle-aged woman looking at him. It was his adoptive mother. The woman hummed before smiling at Naruto. It's good that you're going outside again. I was afraid that I can only raise boys to be like Kazuto. Kazuto has his reasons. Naruto said bluntly, taking notice the woman's wince. However, this was a walk. So beating up gangs categorizes as a walk. You should always try to at least cover your tracks. The woman smirks at Naruto, who twitched at that information. I take very enthusiastic walks. Naruto deadpanned before heading upstairs. I'll make dinner, just let me get comfortable. Naruto, you can let me cook. Naruto's mother said as he looked back at her again. She had light brown hair and nice skin tone that was healthy. She wore a jean jacket over a white t-shirt and black jeans. It's fine, besides I rather like cooking. Naruto muttered out while his cheeks turned rosy from telling the truth. The woman stood there shocked before grinning widely. Well, today I'm lucky to have a day off. I've been missing your meals. I am pleased to have earned your respect for my food. Naruto stoically said before walking upstairs. As he reached the second floor, he saw a young girl walking the hallway that looked surprised to see the blonde hair boy. She wore a middle school sailor outfit. The girl's hair was black that was in bob cut style, and she smiled as she walked to Naruto. Naruto, how are you doing? Fine, nothing interesting at the moment. Naruto said honestly as the girl seemed slightly deflated from his tone. As always, his voice was void of any emotion. However, the girl smiled to him. Then how about joining me back at Kendo? Not interested, I already won nationals, so there's no need for additional training. Naruto said again, now slightly more bored. Go ahead if you want, Suguha, but I have no desire to go back. I submit, are you free now? Suguha asked as Naruto nodded, making smile brightly. Really? Then how about we go to that sweet store you love? Naruto looked at her with mild interest before nodding, not taking notice Suguha's incredibly happy glow. Fine, I'll. However, Naruto's phone went off again. His face gained a soft look as Suguha looked shocked at that facial expression. Sorry Suguha, maybe tomorrow. Naruto said, still smiling as he turned to head to his room. Oh Hikagina. The blonde waved her off mindlessly as he entered his room. It was very simple, a desk in a corner with a digital clock. His bed was tucked in and pressed to perfection. Just 2 more days. Next day. Naruto sighed, eating his bento in silence and peace. As usual in his daily routine, he is on the roof as he was returning emails to his pen pal. Naruto. The boy in question looks up to see a black-haired boy wearing a blue school uniform like Naruto. Here, you forget to buy a drink when coming up here. Naruto gingerly took the object that was in the boy's hand with a swift nod. Thank you, Kazuto. The dark-haired boy sat next to Naruto, sighing. You know, Suguha has been sad lately. How come? Naruto asked as he cracked open his soda and slowly drank its contents. You keep blowing her off to talk to your friends. Kazuto said with a small glare, I understand that you. Friend? What? I only have one friend. Kazuto just stared in astonishment at the blonde, all that time for one friend. I only ever needed one. Naruto commented, besides Suguha is great on her own, she makes good grades, does exceptionally in her club, and is a pretty good in making food. She doesn't need me. You really need to think better of yourself. Kazuto said sadly. Like you're one to talk, you've been avoiding her as well due to the nature of your status in this family. Naruto said cruelly as Kazuto just took the news shockingly. Wait how? Slam. Naruto already left as he quickly shut the door, as if he can understand. The blonde said walking downstairs and passing other students by him. Naruto. The boy looks behind himself to see a beautiful girl looking at him, with two others behind her, what is it? He asked taking notice of her red face and shaking form. You should go home if you feeling unwell. The blonde said as he walked forward until the two girls stood in his way. Please wait. The girl started as Naruto stopped his movements. I have admired you for many years. Naruto raised an eyebrow turning his body to face the girl, elaborate. I do not comprehend. I want to go on a date with you. The girl begged, I always thought you were a cool, nice, and handsome gentleman. Sorry, but I cannot. Naruto bluntly said not noticing everyone wincing at his tone and the girl's painful reaction towards it. Dodo you have someone you're currently dating. Naruto started thinking about her but shook his head, I have no desire to date. All I want in life is to find a good match and last year I found out I can't have that. Everyone in the hallway just stood still as the scene was now pulling them in. The way Naruto, the school's devil blade, was speaking more than a sentence was rare. What do you mean? The girl who asked Naruto for a date questioned him to go on. I was just born in the wrong era is all. Naruto said with a mocking look at the window showing his reflection. This is a boring world if Pasuntal Sao starts. Sao? The girl tilted her head cutely, which might have captured the heart of Naruto if he was normal. Nothing, good day. Naruto rudely moved forward. He continued to move forward until his eyes look at the kendo club's outside building, might as well check on them to see if it's any good challenges. Naruto sighed moving down from the window from the third floor. When falling down he quickly bent his knees for the impact, then proceeded to roll on the stone path to quickly stand back up as if nothing happened. TCH, no excitement. The blonde walked to the building to open the side door, hey, Suguha anybody here who can be an actual match for me now? The whole room looked at the new arrival, nearly all either glared at him or fear was etched in their faces. However Suguha smiled when she saw Naruto enter the building, Naruto. She said running towards him with her shinai. I didn't think you wanted to rejoin. I didn't say I was coming back here. Naruto quickly said looking at the members who he defeated, all I came is to see if anyone is willing to fight me. Hey. A boy with large round glasses yelled at Naruto. You might be the former captain of this club and maybe the regional champion. National, get your facts right. Naruto hissed at the boy who took a step back at the blonde's eyes. And national champion, but it doesn't give you the right to act like a jerk. The boy said as Naruto sighed. Try saying that if you can land a hit on me kid, if not shut up. Naruto demanded as the boy brought up his sword. Shinichi stop. Suguha said, but Naruto's eyes gained a dark gleam to them as he swung his fist to break the bamboo blade in half while grabbing the broken half in his other hand and slam it down the boy's head. Ugh. Shinichi just fell to the ground while Naruto's excitement was quickly leaving his eyes. Never mind, I'm getting tired of this crap. Wait. Suguha chased after Naruto watching leave the building. What is it? Naruto said eyes half-lidded as if about to sleep on his feet. Then maybe we can have a match if that's. Naruto turned his back to look away sighing, no, first off you're still not in my level, granted you're the best this school has to offer. I don't want to send you to the hospital, it would cause trouble for me. Besides I get bored easily now. Oh the girl said before noticing Naruto's hand and grabbed it, you're bleeding. The stoic blonde's head tilted down to see the hand that shattered the kendo sword had shattered remains deep into his skin. Oh, don't worry I'll be fine. Irasai. The young man in that moment widens his eyes slightly at the outburst and then even more wide when being pulled by Suguha, what are you doing? Naruto asked as he was just now following the girl inside the school's main building. I'm taking you to the nurse's office, we need to disinfect that and also bandage it up. Suguha said dragging the boy into the room. Excuse me. Naruto took notice of the clean room and two beds, however the nurse wasn't in the room. Judging on the room, either she isn't here today or is on a break. That means. Sit. Yes ma'am. Naruto said softly surprising himself on how he quickly sat down on the bed as Suguha was looking through the cabinets. Something tells me that you've done this before. What do you expect? Ever since you left the kendo club some the members train really hard to be as good you. So I had to sometimes help the nurse to take care of them when they get too tired or exert themselves. The young girl says sitting next to Naruto holding a rag. Hold still, it stings a lot. Hold on. Naruto said before pulling the shards from the bamboo off his skin and some droplets of blood came out. Now you can do it. Okay. Suguha whispered as she dabbed the rag with disinfectant on his wound. Sorry if it hurts. It doesn't, so your worry is not needed. Naruto spoke without worry as Suguha stopped applying the rag. I'll take care of the rest, go back to your club. Naruto, did I do something to you? Suguha asked looking at the older blonde with worry etched into her face. Why do you say that? Naruto asked in confusion. The girl just looks down on her lap. We used to be such great friends when we were younger, but now ever since you won nationals. You've been avoiding me, actually anyone since then. Naruto eyes flashed with slight want and lust remembering something, wanted a challenge and soon I will have it. But because of this, I have lost many things I used to care for. Make no mistake Suguha, you have not done anything to me. I just lost interest in this world and by extension many people. What? But. Stop, I didn't mean you, we are close friends. Naruto said before standing up, I just have other duties to attend to. Naruto said turning back almost giving a smile to Suguha before it was gone in an instant. Anyway I should get to class. Before he can move again he felt Suguha grabbing his hand once more, his my other hand bleeding as well. No, I mean can we hang out later today? Suguha asked as she was blushing red. Sure, Naruto stopped when his phone was vibrating, hold on. Hello? Mashi. Is this Naruto? A young girl's voice came from the blonde's phone. Ordinarily if Naruto gets an unknown caller he would hang up the phone, however the voice he heard was something that made his lips curl upwards. Naruto was going to start but the girl voice cut him off quickly. Sorry, but I can't talk for long, but listen I got you an early copy of Sao. So tomorrow log in around noon and we can meet up in that church we last meet. Jana. Wait, Naruto hurriedly tried to stop the girl only to hear a beep, she hasn't changed. He smiled sweetly before pocketing his phone and looking at Suguha with a warm smile. Sorry Suguha, maybe tomorrow. Okay. The blonde left still smiling as the next day will be greeted the while not noticing a tear running down Suguha's face. The next day. Alright. Naruto said with an excited tone. The blonde had finally finished swinging 10,000 times with his shinai, today was the day. Sword Art Online, a virtual reality multi-mass online role-playing game, has finally hit the stores today, but thanks to his friend he got on already in the mail yesterday. To prepare himself for this event he woke at the crack of dawn, 5 AM to be exact, to train again something that he hasn't done in long time. Or perhaps this may be the first time I have ever done such tedious rituals. I admit that it has therapeutic effect on my body and mind. Naruto thought as he stopped and threw the shinai to the ground, the wooden tip hitting in deep. Okay, now it's time to make the meals for today. After quickly entering the house Naruto headed towards the kitchen grabbing utensils and ingredients to make a traditional Japanese breakfast. So I can either keep my weapons, skills or stats. I wonder if she will choose her equipment. Naruto talked to himself as he peeled some radishes for the meal. Though for me, the reason I went up the last floor was because I took risks that would have killed anyone else, my equipment was no more than beginner's stuff. My stats were average or on level to that floor that I stopped at, so that leaves the skills, but. What are you mumbling to yourself? Naruto lifts his head to see Suguha again sweating lightly, nothing, just thinking about some trivial stuff. I'm making some breakfast, any request? Can you make me some grilled salmon with? Done. Naruto said presenting and pushing the dish Suguha wanted, surprising her. You always want grilled salmon with white rice sprinkled with seasoning. Arigato. She whispered as he continued to make more dishes and let them rest on the counter. I'll be in my room all day except when to make dinner. Okay, I'll go to my club later. Let's hang out later when you come back. Suguha eyes widen as she didn't realize what Naruto had say. I'm sorry, repeat that again please. She only watched Naruto turning his back as water was rushing down the sink, maybe he didn't say. I asked if you wanted to hang out later. Suguha swore that in that moment that her heart skipped a beat, really, but why I thought you said that you're going to be at your room all day. I don't have to all day long. It's an apology as well. Naruto looked back at Suguha with a sad smile. I've been rude to ignore you for the last month and well I wish to make up for it. When you have been trying to be nice, all I did was ignore you for my own whims. For that I'm sorry. No. Suguha waved her hands frantically as she looked at Naruto with fierce eyes. I would be glad to spend time with you again. Thank you, also if I am still log in just yank the cord okay? Naruto said before leaving the kitchen when placing the last dish on the dryer. Suguha. Why yes. She looked up as Naruto was midway in the stare, only to blush softly to see his gentle smile, something that only someone can make do for her, as of late. "I'll see you later, sis." Naruto chuckled, walking up, noticing the small eep that she let out from her lips. Naruto's room. Link start. Naruto smiled as his eyes now saw only white with words that said touch. Okay, sight. Okay, hearing. Okay, taste. Okay, smell. Okay, soon he saw was the thing he was waiting for. Character registration. Naruto, M. Level 55. Due to reaching floor 25, you are able to keep one of these perks. Keep equipment and items. Keep skills. Keep stats. Click. Keep equipment and items. Use beta test character. Yes. No. Click. Yes. Welcome to Sword Art Online. Heh. Naruto eyes open wide to see a blue sky above him, and in front was a city with hundreds of players also logging in. Naruto eyes caught a mirror reflecting at him. He walked forward to see himself, or rather the Naruto of Sword Art Online. He had spiky hair that was swiped back in pure dull silver, red eyes that held his excitement for this game. Naruto inwardly groaned at the beginner gear he had and switched for a different set. In flash of light he now wore a black vest made of black belts and golden buckles. He had tight light black metal pants, due to the vest his stomach and arms were naked. Oddly, Naruto's face, navel region, and shoulders all had red markings on them. Ping. That's her. Naruto said with a smile, summoning his menu to look at the message. Naruto, I see you. Meet me at the church quickly. HMPH. Naruto closed his eyes, still smiling as he dashed forward to head to the location he was meeting her. The blonde watches people who he passed by stood in awe at his speed. Maybe today we can finally find a beach like she wanted. Naruto said out loud, grinning like a child, finally happy to return to his real world and not that ludicrous one for a while. You know that won't happen. The blonde stopped his body motion and glanced up to see a girl. Thud. Landing on top of him. Or I wish you don't act like that so much. Naruto deadpanned as he lifted the girl off of him. Only to be dragged up instead. Whoa. Aw, come on Naruto, it's been almost 2 months since we last saw each other. Wouldn't you hug someone out of joy? The girl said as Naruto blinked at her. Aura has lavender hair, which goes down to the base of her neck with 2 long strands on either side of her head, which go down to the top of her breasts. She has 2 freckles on her left breast inside her cleavage. Her eyes are red-violet, nearly pink. She also is wearing a lilac color strapless dress with a black piece of fabric going across the breasts and down to her stomach, below an intricate coat. This coat is made up of violet and plum shaded components, reaching as far down as the hem of her dress, but also leaving some areas open, which expose the dress below. Above that she wears a collar of the same violet of her coat, outlined in lavender with a red jewel securing the collar in place. She wears plum stockings, which have, much like the rest of her outfit, whorls etched on. They go up under the dress and are connected by something triangular. Aura, your character is completely different. Naruto stated as the girl giggled and twirled on her toes. Stree. The girl said with a pout, my name is Stree from now on. Why? Naruto asking, intrigued. It turns out that it's kind of dumb to use your actual name for a character, so I change it to Stree. I even switched my old character because that one looks like me too. I decided to this new one, always wanted to have lavender hair instead of my mother's snowy white hair. Stree said with a light smile. No, let's do some level grinding. Hold on, here. Naruto said, pulling out his menu. I was glad that I kept my inventory. Here's a present for you. Oh, this is so cute. I'll add it to my equipment. Stree said, tapping her own menu when a small light appeared around her body, where a white cloak was around her frame, which was held by an infinite pin brooch at her neck. Come daylight's burning. A few hours later. The Stree and Naruto breathed heavily as they lay on a clearing, where dozens of monsters are now glowing and shattering into dozens of shards. The girl laughs out loud as she sat upwards. That was great. This game is so fun, especially with you Naruto. Yeah, I nearly died a few times, such great exhilaration. Naruto yawned, something that I haven't felt since IK. Stree abruptly stood up, eyes widening. Sorry Naruto, I got to meet with someone really quick. She pulled out a deep blue crystal in her hand. I promise we can play more later. Wait or let me. Naruto raised his arm to stop Stree from leaving. Help, he sighed with a smirk. Oh well, time to log off. What the blonde shouted when his body slowly turned blue. The statue of a young girl that had 8 silver chains around her started to rust and slowly break apart as each piece slowly disappeared from the world. 8 pillars of rock and dirt rose from the ground, all slowly becoming into unique shapes and figures. Then a voice soon filled the area. Yet return, the shadowed one. Who quests for the Twilight Dragon. The first stone creature slowly lifts its hand as red liquid slowly rose to create a giant cross, then quickly rose to the sky. Second creature slowly vanished from existence as if never there to begin with. rumbles the dark hearth. And Helba, queen of the dark. A slowly budding flower soon turn into nearly hundreds more appear as a dark shadow in the shape of an odd leaf was soon departed, leaving behind glowing green stones in the shape of leaves. The next creature had spinning a wheel attached to its body before the flowers slowly wilted away as it also vanished without leaving a trace. As raised finally her army. Ape Iron, king of light beckons. Two stones slowly spun around each other as they ripped and tore boulders and everything between and after it, only to sunk into the ground to be gone. A small hand appear from the hole as it sung a beautiful song as flower petals fell around it, showing a figure of a woman. Only to slowly vanish as the petals pile upon its hand, as the wind blows nothing was there. At the base of the rainbow do they meet. Against the abominable wave. The stake stabbed into the ground creating a pool of dark pool that a stone statue of a snake appeared and was stabbed by the stake screaming in agony. Together they fight. Alba's lake boils. Lastly seeds slowly grow in size to giant proportions as now a woman with long white hair appeared where the statue of the young girl was now shattered on the floor. She was sickly skinny figure where she spoke. Light's great tree doth fall. Our now all to droplets turned. It's time my children. In the temple of Arch Coln. Returns to nothing. O find Narutand. This world of shadowless ones. Never to return, the shadowed one. Who quests for the twilight dragon. Kill him. Back with Naruto. Naruto smiled as he saw the screaming people running in the streets of the town of beginnings, a game of death, live or die by the sword. I like the way you think Kayaba Akihiko, now I can fend for myself in this world. The words escaped Naruto's mouth as if he was receiving a great present. Now oh no. His eyes widening in realization. The blonde eyes quickly look around to push the players, Stree. Naruto yelled now panicking trying to find his partner and friend. The blonde pulls out his menu to sigh in relief and Stree's status is alive, but know where he can find her, Stree no my Oriplus wait for Mesuguha. Naruto now wore a face that held sorrow maybe tomorrow if I'm still alive. Naruto quickly looked into his inventory and pulled out the mirror, slowly a dim glow surrounded him. No longer was his silver-haired form and different face there, it was him, the true blonde Naruto who looked up to the sky with determined eyes holding on to a now summoned scythe. I swear that I will be the one to end this game. Chapter end. Alright let's get this story started. Stree. Naruto yelled exiting a dark and crumbling building. Damn this floor doesn't have her here either quickly letting a sigh out he throw away his cracked knife as it broke into 1,000 pieces. Maybe she's on the next floor, seems I have to join that raid next week. It's been 3 months since the start of the death game, Sword Art Online. Nearly around 2,500 people have been dead, Naruto himself was glad to know that none of the names on the list was neither Orin or Stree, making him still believe she is alive. Though I wonder how the hell is she still missing. Naruto spoke out his mind while rubbing his chin in deep thought. It was true that first month, Naruto nearly spent looking for Stree all over Floron but no luck. Back in the beta test the friend list option in the menu allowed you to find anybody in the game as long as the floor has been cleared. So after some debate and ideas, it's possible that Stree somehow is on the upper floors when Kayaba told everyone about the death game. But how in the name of swords did Stree get to the upper floors? Maybe it's that fact she also cleared floor 25 and keep her level making possible that she also can go back up where she left off. If so why didn't she contact him or reach him any possible way? The blonde took out a piece of charred meat and savagely ate it in one bite, throwing the rest in front of him. After chewing the meat and swallowing it, Naruto jumped up and kicked downward where a bear was standing in his former spot. Dead. Naruto shouts out before stabbing a knife into the beast's mouth and forcing it down into the throat. Naruto can only smile as his menu appeared before him, level up 35-36 good nothing else to report. So might as well wait in town for my info broker to come to me. The blonde walked forward to head back to the town, despite the fact that his only friend is possible in constant danger. This game has brought Naruto eternal boredom to an end, he enjoyed the danger of dying and constant fighting. Before he can think more about that thought Naruto had already returned to the town where players gaze at his arrival. He silently continued his pace sitting on a bench and closing his eyes. Finally getting tired. Naruto's eyes opened slightly to see a girl in front of him, she wore a brown coat and had red markings that look like whiskers, Argoi pay you for I-formation, not for your gob. Any news? I'm afraid not. No player was found with the description you gave has been seen so far. You sure she is still alive? I mean was she really here in first day of the game? Naruto looked up, remembering the soft and warm body that pressed down on his body when Stree jumped him. You see ya. Boy, wait, I have something. Apparently, many female players around here have been taken by red players, meaning they were not killed. It's a dark thought, but maybe Argo turned to Naruto to analyze he was already running. Naruto. Great, I just lost a high-paying client well there's always Kurito. In real life, Naruto's hospital room. A sleeping Naruto was lying in a bed with hundreds of machines monitoring every possible thing in his body. If something, God forbid anything, all the doctors will be paged to his side ASAP, thanks to the director of the hospital. Ever since Naruto entered the room, nothing but depressing things could be said by the other doctors. Dreary. Creepy. Sad. Hollow. All were brief about on who he was up to date, thus causing nearly all the doctors to either pity the boys detached to the world, while the others just felt creeped out that the boy was probably enjoying the challenge from the death game if what they heard was anything to go by. But now all those words and theories were long gone when finally the room looked 100. No, a million times better when a young doctor spotted a girl walking into Naruto's room later that afternoon. She called in the others to check if she was seeing things, and to her luck she wasn't. Naruto. Suguha said, placing down flowers on a stand which was next to Naruto's bed. This is so endearing. A female doctor said with waterfall tears running down her eyes. The others nodded, also mimicking her tears on their faces. Why are you all standing there? All the medical professionals all turned snowy white as they looked to see their boss in front of them with a glare. Tsunade, we. Back to work or I'll make each and every one of you clean the asses of the SAO victims for the next year. Tsunade yelled as Suguha giggled at this event. It's been like this for the last month, ever since she worked up the courage to see Naruto and Kazuto in the hospital. All the doctors would greet her like she work here with them, watch her enter Naruto's room, and Tsunade would berate them. Wait, wasn't there? Hey. The young kendo member looks up to see the blonde woman in front of her, Tsunade-sensei. He's happy. Tsunade said, walking to the other side of the bed, laying her fingers on cheeks that weren't covered by the nerve gear. Even when his mind is stuck in a game, I can always tell when's he happy. Suguha unconsciously smiled at that fact. About what? I didn't know. To be honest, I was afraid he might be like his godfather, a super pervert. Now I wish he acting like that dead idiot. Now I have to watch every minute of the day wondering if he's going to live or die. Tsunade mumbled as she looked at the ceiling. Was Naruto lovely or before my mom and dad adopted him? Suguha asked, wondering what Naruto was like before he started to act Alan-caring. He took after his mother, Kushina Uzumaki. When he was just barely 4, he would cry about not having a cup of ramen when dinner was up. Jiraiya, his godfather, would send me pictures of him and Naruto playing in his backyard or games before his death. Tsunade said with a slight crack in her voice. But now to my surprise he is solemn to everything. Suguha could only look down. I rather have him saying maybe tomorrow to me every day of my life than look at him like this. I rather have Jiraiya make him the next super prevent than to see him in a death game. Tsunade said before clenching her fists. Damn you, Kayaba. I wouldn't worry though. What? Suguha looks at the doctor with warm smile while holding onto his hand. He's the most strongest person in all of the world. He acts like he doesn't care, but deep down Naruto loves protecting others. He hates doing trivial things, but in actuality he finds them oddly fun. Naruto won't ever lose to someone's stupid game, because when someone's strong she'll be 10 times stronger just to win. Tsunade just stared at the girl, stunned at the declaration. She stuttered before laughing out loud. You are related to Naruto, even not by blood, seriously it sounds like you love him. I didn't mean. The blonde doctor raised her hand. I know, come on, let's get something to eat. The food here sucks, so let's get takeout and bring it in. Naruto did love watching other people eat for some reason. Suguha nodded, getting her coat, following the doctor before looking back to Naruto. I'll be back. The girl quickly went to his side to hold his hand again. I need to tell you something soon. Sword Art Online, The Mystic Forest. Donde está vicious? Naruto spoke in Spanish as he held up a man who in the last hour only spoke Spanish. He. The man said, pointing north as Naruto punched him to where he was going to the red zone and drop a large crystal in his chest. LA that they need more men up here, understand? Una vez más. I mean the Ironclad Liberation Army, for fuck's sake, Naruto growled before stomping on the crystal to send the man to the Blackgate prison. Wait, when did I learn Spanish? Ignoring that sudden skill, Naruto went to the direction he was told to enter from the orange player. Naruto looked for the red player group since he met with Argo. If they were kidnapping girls into dungeons since the game started, it might a good chance to say Stree is there. ZZZT. Naruto eyes widen as he throw a spare sword at a tree, only to see a rabbit with 5 of its children running away. The hell? I could have sworn that TCH got to move on. If the blonde had stayed, he would have noticed a stone creature slowly manifesting next to the tree that the sword hit. Slowly raising the air, it vanished as the air rippled and distorted to hide the being again. A few hours later. 5 in front of the cave dungeon, who knows who else are inside. I've only got a couple of forced teleport crystals left. I might have to use that to take them down. Naruto watched as the 5 red players just talked until another came. Naruto closed his eyes as he amped up his listening skills to hear what they were saying. Listen, the boss says that girl we caught can be useful in more ways than one. One, the henchman said with a lecherous look. Sweet. The other cheered as all but one went with the man. The last member just stood at the entrance before dropping his sword. Whoops. No sooner than hearing that reaction, the blonde swiftly jumps while throwing another crystal and sword to stab the man, sending the man away. The blonde boy smiled as he walked forward, checking his inventory and narrowed his eyes when realizing he just used his last crystal. Normally he would buy more at this point, but the other red players were probably notified by his arrival. No choice. With a few strokes of his fingers, Naruto backglowed as a huge brown box was now attached to his back with a black leather strap wrapping his body to it. Oof, the blonde bent his knees as the weight of the new addition to his body caused him to be off by it. Half an hour later. Naruto was slowly sneaking by, breathing heavily. For the last hour Naruto has been silently taking down the red players and stealing their own escape and teleport crystals. The blonde at this point had unholy, unyielding rage when passing by female players, all stripped down to the very clothes, even the undergarments. He had no care for them, but he would flat out murder. Shit. The blonde rolled to dodge a heavy claymore blade, his eyes turned to see a man holding a girl that was in a bag. How did he know it was a girl? Well, the chest level was sticking forward a bit. I guess you're the kidnapper, vicious. Haha, looks like someone wants to take my flower garden. The man said, throwing the girl to the side. Naruto took notice to the man. He was naked save for a pair of leather pants, besides that, and an odd symbol on his chest that looked like coffin. Naruto sighed. Whatever, time to die. Agreed. Naruto throws the case at the man, who just jumps over it as the blonde pulled out a katana to block a machete. Naruto smiled as his health slowly went down. It seems this leader was not bad. Oof. Naruto gasped when the man kicked him in the stomach. Jeh. Naruto grunted in pain when the machete was stabbed into his back. Die. TCH. Naruto bit down his teeth, didn't want to spoil this, but if you did touch my aura. The blonde fell to his knees while laying his hands on the ground. Ah, sorry to break to you. Visha said, grinning. I love taking my time touching, and the man said before raising an eyebrow at Naruto, who was shaking. Naruto looks up with a savage grin as he pulled on two different chains. I don't want you to live. What did the man look back to only look at the ground upside down. His head was floating in the air as Naruto caught a scythe connected to a chain. All he could see next was Naruto smiling as he attached the scythe to his back and the chain to his belt that was on his around his pants. CRSSSSSH. Naruto took a deep breath as he enjoyed the battle, but it was overshadowed by the sensation of killing that red player. Naruto's mind was halted when seeing a message. Ongoing quest achieved, player killer started. 1/100th kills. PKK. Naruto's eyes slowly narrowed as he looked at the detailed to complete kill up to 100 red players, player killers. So that means, Naruto said, slowly enjoying the thought of fighting Marafatingo crap. Naruto moved toward the bag as he lifted the person to sit up. Hey he. The blonde shook the bag that held the girl inside. If you can hear me, speakman Stree, this isn't a joke. Stree. Who's Stree? Naruto's eyes widened as he took his scythe's head and ripped the bag to a normal girl and his friend. This girl was a red-haired female. She wore something like a ninja outfit. Thanks, I owe ya. My name's Wait, where you going? Anywhere but here. I can't believe I wasted my time with you. Naruto growled, looking up at the map of the floor he was on. 100% cleared and no sign of Stree, damn it. I used my newest weapon for nothing. Hey. The red-haired girl said, walking in front of Naruto. You saved me and tons of other girls here from that crazed son of a bitch. Like I care, I was only trying, my friend. I don't care about you or any of the people. Naruto said, walking out and grabbed the keys the recently PK'd player. TCH, now I have to head for the raid now under a few hours. Wait. Hold on, you're in the red zone. The girl declared, running Naruto while handing him a healing crystal. Heal first. Fine. The boy said, crushing the crystal with his bare hands, recovering half of his lost health. Look girly, you better not stay. My name is Alcade. The girl said, looking at Naruto with a stern look. And I'm coming with you, sensei. That comment made Naruto look back at the girl with wide eyes. Sensei? Yeah, I want to learn how to fight like you. You see, I'm pretty famous around here as the warrior princess, red ninja, and wait. I have no time for idiots. Naruto simply said as he walked ahead. Unless you can help me scout a girl named Stree, then get lost. Stree? White, was she wearing a white cloak and had light purple hair? Alcade started, however blushed when the blonde quickly was nearly an inch away from her face. Oh oi. Where is she? Where did you see? A little over a week ago when the floor was open, she wasn't. Like she was dying even though the status was green and all the monsters just ignore her. But back to what I was saying, she was out of it like someone who lost the meaning of her life. No. Naruto shook his head, worrying the mental image and state of his only friend. Actually, she did say something, but I couldn't understand. Alcade said, taking a sword out. It was golden blade with hilt that was designed as a flower. Harriet was another language, but my subtitled function show the words. Naruto watched and head tilted in confusion as the words read Maturum matched to das. Vader, wo bist in Naruto it was German, or it taught him some words in the beta test, and he continued to learn afterward. It translated as Mother, why are you doing this? Father, where are you? Naruto protected his blood in his mind froze at the words Alcade finished. She just teleported away afterward, but with no crystal or anything, she just vanished. Alcade said, watching Naruto's saddening look. But, if she was alive there, then she can be alive now, right? Thank you for your time. Naruto said, walking ahead, but Alcade cut him off again. What is it now? Let me help. That way we can clear the maps faster and probably find that girl faster. All I ask is that you teach me to fight like that. Naruto hums to himself, deep in thought, wondering to take it or not. Indeed, if Naruto has someone to stay behind while he is on a raid, if Stree appears, he can make Alcade get her. He can also use her to help in heavier quests and make her a good blacksmith. Fine, here. Naruto said, throwing her escape and teleport crystal with the keys he got. Your first duty is to get all of these female players out. If you let one die, then don't bother looking for me in town. If you do get them all back, I'll be waiting at the fountain. But that Naruto already crushed his own escape crystal and waste in the entrance of the first floor. The hell? The blonde said before walking forward to leave the cave dungeon, before loud static was loudly heard to the point Naruto covered his ears to try to block it. Gah. However, the noise was the least of Naruto's concerns, as the forest in front of him was now blurring and slowly changing. In a matter of mere moments he was now in a stone field with glowing teal rocks. But the odd thing was the floating debris of land and buildings. Ing. NC Major, Naruto slowly said as he heard that tone. However, he couldn't indulge in it since he saw that. A stone creature that looked something from an art project. It had two long stone legs that were floating next to the main body. The arms, hands and shoulders were also like the legs made of stones floating spaciously. The head, which had an odd ring going around its head, unlike the rest of the floating limbs, was attached to the boy with three dark black holes that Naruto can only deduce were the eyes of the monster. In its right hand was a red Celtic cross. It lifted it up with ease and pointed to Naruto, as if to say, you're next. However, Naruto was shaking with only one thing in his mind: kill this monster. Health was hidden. That means it was a level so high Naruto's mastered scanning skill is unable to read. Only one thing appeared. Skeeth. The terror of death. Phase 1. Naruto spun his scythe as his eyes glowed with excitement. This is it, me heart is going fast. My hands are shaking, my reward. Ha 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 ha. The blonde laughed, running towards Skeeth ready to battle. Real world. I wonder what made Naruto so detached from everything. Suguha asked Tsunade, who sighed. The blonde doctor and Suguha were coming back to the hospital after getting some Chinese food and some sweets to stay in Naruto's room a bit longer. Now they were currently walking in the hallway to head in Naruto's room. I wish I knew, after Jiraiya died Naruto didn't even once send me anything to tell me he was fine. In about 3 months, I was able to ask your mother if he was fine when I heard your family adopted him. Yeah, and what the Suguha said as she saw doctor after doctor running past them. What's going on? I don't know, and I don't like it. Hey. Tsunade yelled, grabbing one female doctor. What's going on? It's Naruto. His vitals are spiking through the roof. The woman said, making Tsunade eyes wide. Is he waking up? The older woman said, with hope rising, only to be in horror when the woman shook her head. It's like he's being tortured. He's seizing up and blood is escaping from his lips. Naruto. Suguha screamed, pushing the women out of her way to rush into Naruto's room. Suguha, wait. She didn't listen as she barged into the room where 5 doctors were holding down a twitching and seizing Naruto, who was coughing out blood. Naruto. She screamed out, running to grab the hand of the person she loved. Stay with me. The boy just continued to move erratically, but if anyone had the time to notice, it was slightly better than it was until a doctor pulled the young girl away from Naruto's hand. No. Please, I have to stay with him. Get her out of here. I'm calling the time of death if the nerve gear kills him. A doctor said, watching the vitals spike every few seconds as the other medical professionals held him down. Kill. Suguha shouted as she tried her damned hardest to break free. With her only free hand, Suguha desperately tried to reach Naruto's form. Naruto, Naruto. Naruto. Tsunade helped the other doctor with pulling Suguha from the room. I'm sorry, but if it does happen, he can't allow you to watch it. No. Let me go. Naruto, Oni-san. Suguha cried as the door was closed, and now she had to wait to see if Naruto is going to live or not. But Stree. The young woman was sitting in a pedestal in a lonely church as a chain was wrapped around her neck, 2 for each arm, 1 for each leg, and 1 around her waist. 8 chains in total, the girl's eyes were now lifeless and hollow, as she can only moan out sounds. Creak. Suddenly, like flipping on a switch from off to on, Stree's chain on her neck seemed to slowly rust and chipped. Naruto. The girl smiled sadly before closing her eyes and her head limply looking downwards. But even then that sweet loving smile never left her face. Chapter end. Chapter begin. The young Naruto was sitting with an old man who was smiling at the boy, Naruto. The blonde boy nodded looking at the white-haired man. He was shirtless with a red bandage on his chest. Yes, Jai-san. Live a wonderful life. The man sat up slightly groaning in pain but still smiled at the blonde kid. You have to choose what's right and what's wrong. I know you will make the best decisions. Okay. The man smiled, patting Naruto's head. Good, please don't let anything stiffen. Naruto's eyes soon turned dim as he felt the hand on his head. Felt breathing of the only other person in the room stopped short and the cold realization that his godfather died. Just to protect him. Ludicrous. But Naruto. Naruto was smiling as he moves his body to swing his scythe at Skeeth, earning another 300 hit points from the monsters that barely did anything. But it just made Naruto's smile grow bigger as he jumped back from a quick slash from the stone monster's red wand. Wicked strike. Naruto roared as he nearly in an instant closing the gap of distance between him and the monster while swinging the scythe once more but leaving a red circle as it shattered causes more damage to Skeeth. Die ha 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 ha. Naruto laughed manically as he watches the monster stood still and vanish. Naruto eyes swiftly look across to see nothing but empty plains. In that moment Naruto eyes wide and turned back, both hands clutching his weapon, only to see the red wand slam against his left arm and sending him flying away. If this was real life, Naruto would have felt every bone in his arm and left side of his body being crushed into fine powder. If this was real life, Naruto would be dying in a matter of seconds. But this is the world he wanted, the world known as Sword Art Online. As long as his health isn't at zero he can fight, as long as his health isn't at zero, he can live for Stree and his excitement. Let me go. Suguha screamed as she tried to open Naruto's door only for the nurse and Tsunade to restrain her. I can't. Whatever Tsunade was going to say was hitched when watching the door open. Despite her own heart-desperate desire to run away, she had a duty for Suguha to ask the question. His head idiot. Suguha went limp at the mention of the question. She fell to her hands and knees with her head looking downward. Was today the day Naruto dies? We still don't know. The doctor said with a confused look, when you left for a few minutes Naruto stopped moving. We, for a while, thought he died but just in a matter of seconds he started to move again. I think's fighting something. What? He's alive. Suguha said with a hopeful look complete with tears about to burst. She quickly stood back up from the ground. Look, the doctor showed the two females to the room filled with nurses and doctors watching Naruto. Although this time they were catching their breaths. Damn it. Naruto roared, missing his chance to use his skill. What's going on? There's no way this thing can switch its movements that quickly. The blonde jumps when the monster suddenly tosses the red wand at Naruto. The fuck? When can bosses do that? Naruto comically shouted. As the monster starts to vanish again, Naruto throws his scythe at it. Not this time. He shouts. Slash. Naruto smiled as he saw 9999 damage across Keith's chest when taking out a knife. Dead ga. The blonde eyes widen in pain as the stone creature arm went through Naruto's stomach. No. Naruto whispered as his HP was in the red, almost hitting zero. It starting again. A nurse screamed as she and many others held down Naruto as he was writhing in pain. What the hell is happening? Tsunade said in horror. This can't be because of the game. Who knows? Everyone turned to see a young woman's shoulder-length hair that was colored platinum blonde color. She wore a light peach sweater with shirt that has a lighter hue color of the sweater. She wore a black skirt and black leggings as Tsunade eyes widen. I know you, Lara Horwick. Suguha looked up as she wondered who that lady is over. It quickly died down when she resumed her watch over Naruto, who returned to being still. Who is she? Tsunade. Her uncle is one of 3 people who helped created Sword Art Online. Tsunade said as she looks at Lara. What? Then what is she doing here? Suguha said, glaring at the older girl. She knows that she didn't cause this but couldn't help it. I felt it was my duty to come here since Naruto did help with the game. Lara said, walking up to Naruto with a kind smile. Interesting guy, I check on him before coming here. Who would have thought someone like him made such a wonderful story? Lara spoke her thoughts out loud as she went to touch the boy's nerve gear, only to be slapped by Suguha. Lara just looked at the protective glare from Suguha before the niece started to smile sincerely. Sorry, I had no right. Anyway, I'm here because I felt bad that this is happening to him. Why only Naruto? Isn't there, I dunno, thousands of others? Suguha said rudely, astonishing Tsunade and the others on how she acted. Because I was the one who showed Naruto's work to my uncle, which gave him an exclusive copy. Lara said softly. Slap. Lara eyes widened when her eyesight was turned to the side while also noticing her left cheek felt pain. She corrected her line of sight to its original position to see a crying Suguha. I was so happy before this happened. Naruto was finally opening up to me, returning to his old smiling sweet self again, but this happened. If your uncle, Kayaba or whoever also helped making Sword Online never been born, he and I would finally be back to normal. Oh, you have a hard slap. Lara chuckled before sighing softly, I'm sorry really I am. Understand that I came here to apologize. GHHH. Naruto body roared as he seizure once more scaring everyone. Thankfully Suguha returned to his side, holding his hand, which quiet down the comatose blonde. Hey Naruto breathed in slow painful gasps of air. It's like he fighting for his life, Lara said solemnly. I wonder if my uncle can explain this to us, maybe he could save Naruto. He was a genius with these things. What? He can. Tsunade said shocked, but Lara looked down in the ground. He's dead, car crash. The GPS on his car lead him to an unfinished highway that wasn't torn down or had roadblocks. Lara sadly whispered, that's another reason I'm here, my uncle wanted to thank Naruto. For what? Suguha asked looking at the sad teen. For helping create Inkrit and the goddess of Aurora. But Naruto. Where Ami? Those words have never been used more perfectly than this, he was fighting a godlike monster and was dying, to suddenly wake up in this dark room. He can't see for shit, I die. Damn, sorry Suguha, I won't be able to hang with you again. I guess that also means no apology to Kirito either. Streamy aura, Naruto's words died when he saw a light that slowly illuminated the room. Actually it was a street where rain was pouring down hard. The blonde walked forward as soon he realized that he was standing up. Where am I? Why did he died? The blonde scythe wielder saw something that shocked him. It was himself barely 10 years old, maybe 9 at the youngest. But it was the younger Naruto look that concerns him, was just standing there holding on to a music player. Naruto. Blonde scythe wielder saw his adoptive mother Midori walking to the younger Naruto. Why are you out here in the rain? Jiraiya is dead, right? He won't ever come back, will he? Midori nodded sadly, I'm sorry sweetie, he's gone. He protected me from the shooter at the banquet. Why would he do something that will get him killed? The younger Naruto asked, utterly confused. Naruto? Are you okay? Midori asked concerned. I'm fine, but answer me. Because of he loved Yao was willing to protect even if it killed him. Midori answered honestly. Ludicrous. The older Naruto said. I see, he wanted to protect me. The younger Naruto nodded as Midori held his hand. Come on, let's go inside, Kazuto and Suguha wanted to play with you. Midori said with a smile, trying to cheer up Naruto. Jiraiya. The older Naruto said, haven't thought about that old geezer in years. Naruto eyes widened as another bright flash of light hit him. Naruto was watching a young white-haired girl play a violin, he gasped softly when watching the girl who continued to play. It was so sad, song would have made anyone cried, but Naruto just listened. He had seen the girl a few times in the beta test route town of beginning. She was the odd girl. Always the first one to enter the town after Naruto defeats the boss to the floor. She was always carrying a large broadsword on her back, but not once he had ever seen her used it. Perhaps she can be a challenge, hey. That was the moment. That he felt something like other regular people would. She just smiled at Naruto, no flirty way like some of the upperclassmen were with him, not a cute innocent smile from his underclassmen. This one was a smile that made Naruto's heart skip a beat. The blonde realized that she was still speaking. I'm sorry, say that again. Naruto asked. I said, hello. My name's Aura, I've seen you around the towns. Naruto right? Aura asked, putting down the violin. Naruto Uzumaki, my real name. And I could say the same for you, I was wondering how I see you in every town. Naruto informed the girl, I want to know how you can play the violin here. Promise not to tell. Aura asked as Naruto nodded. After watching his approval, Aura moved closer to his ear to whisper, I'm a super hacker. I see. Naruto said. Aura pouted at Naruto as she spoke, Mo, you and daddy are no fun. You guys just think it's normal. It's amazing what you can do. Naruto said, smiling to the sky sitting down on the grassy meadow. I only have strength, but soon one day we'll lose it. But I can only enjoy fighting now. That sounds fun to me. I'm always stuck in my room and mommy won't let me do anything exciting or fun, thinking I will die of shock or something. Aura said. Then she softly muttered, I wish I can be like you, strong and confident. That was the day I finally found a friend and regained some of my humanity. Every day I've head towards the top of the floor to meet her, my Aura, to talk, eat, nap, anything and everything together. I want to protect that smile. And Sword Art Online. Naruto eyes widen as he saw Skeeth still there. No, I won't die, Naruto demanded as he quickly grabs a few healing crystals. If I have to choose, I'm coming out alive. In the hospital. Naruto helped creating Aincrad. Suguha said as she winced as Naruto's body limply flails around. Lara nodded, taking a seat on an empty chair. There was a contest for the beta testers. They were given the option of creating a backstory for Aincrad. My uncle allowed me to read some of them, none of them really impressed me. That is until I read Naruto's piece. It was an adaptation from Emma, the Epitaph of Twilight. Tsunade's eyes widen at that title. I heard that book. The old hermit was a big fan of Emma, he even bought all the books. What's the Epitaph of Twilight? Suguha asked. One of the most famous pieces of literature ever produced 7 years ago. It was about a world that held mystical and mythological beings. It told of the world and the gods who govern it until a powerful malicious force came as the curse wave. The goddess Aurora seals them away. At least from what I read. Tsunade explained. However, a few years ago the internet had some problems and destroyed Emma's work. She only published 10 of those books, and with a special block on her website, no one could save, copy or steal her work. Just one is almost 10 million yen on the auctions. Lara looked a window next to her with a rueful smile. Yes, he guessed that sounds about right. But Harold read Naruto's idea, stating that Aincrad was a Noah's Ark to save some people who tried to escape the wave. Suguha looks at Naruto with sad eyes. Here's another thing I don't know about you. The middle school student sadly thought to herself. Thus we gave him an exclusive copy. It was supposed to be given to him the next day of the launch of SAO. What did you just say? Suguha said, stunned for a moment. Naruto was supposed to get his exclusive copy the next day when everyone got trapped. Lara said, what? I mean, it must have arrived early. I mean, that's why we're standing here. Naruto got his copy from his friend, Aura. Suguha said to Lara. That's impossible, we only had the hard copies and there was no more than. Oh my god. Lara said as she took out her phone, rapidly hitting numbers as she took a call. Hello? What was the number of players log in on the first day? Tsunade and Suguha looked at each other and worried as Naruto screamed in pain again. What? Lara's voice startled the two females and other doctors in the room. The young woman looked back at the two family members of Naruto, Tenta-san and 2. Lara said as she hung up the phone. What? Tsunade asked, confused at the number. They were 10,002 players on the day it was online. The last two to enter was Naruto and another player named Stree. Beta version of their characters were used for the SAO characters, names Naruto and Aura. Also, this Aura is the 1001 beta tester. Lara said, shocked. What does that mean? Suguha said. I don't know, I never thought that this would happen. But it seems that Naruto and this Aura are now additional players of Sword Art Online. Tsunade looked at her godson and sighed. Even if you became stoic and numb to the world, you still haven't changed your unpredictability. Naruto. With Naruto. Naruto smiled as he punched Skeith's main rock body, pushing it away from him and dealing more damage than he originally thought. Better thank Argo for telling me about this martial arts skill. Maybe I'll send a fruit basket. Hey, come on, you're not died, right? Face me like I guess man in your case. Naruto chuckled, not caring why he was feeling this way and making jokes. It was a fun battle, and he wanted it to keep going on. Skeith, however, drops its wand as it raised its rocks to simulate a fighting pose. The rock that was possible, its hand just curled towards Skeith, as if to say, come at me. Naruto just smiled happily. Thank you. The monster's head tilt as if asking him to continue to explain. There is only battle for me, and you are giving me a one hell of a battle. So for that, I thank you. If I die, at least I died with a monster that was the strongest. The creature seemed to acknowledge it, lowering its head slightly to nod. Skeith just throws a rock-solid fist at Naruto, who jumps over it and slams his hands over the monster head, cracking it. Skeith its head back and throws off Naruto, who skidded away from the monster. Damn it. Skeith floated over Naruto's body. It turns its head to the side Naruto had previously thrown in their battle a few minutes ago. Grabbing it, Skeith raised it over its head and quickly brought it down. Crash. Naruto smiled as he won. In the last second he moved slightly and used Skeith's discarded wand and stabbed the monster with it, although he lost his left arm. Thankfully he is in the yellow bar of his health. He'll have to use a cure bleed crystal to fix that soon. Skeith, the terror of death. No, from now on I will never forget this battle. Like how I killed that one man in the bank who killed my godfather Jiraiya. Skeith, who slowly descended to the ground on his knees, or rather the rock that were his legs, look at Naruto. Naruto smiled, soon turned into a sad frown. I don't understand, when people are near death they don't want it, others do want death on another hand. I didn't experience anything about death or any emotion, don't get me wrong Skeith, our battle was amazing, nothing else I would rather have except Aura's location maybe. Skeith just stood still, however its hand slowly circled around Naruto, the hand detaching from the body and went around Naruto, who continued to speak. Why do I not feel anything besides killing and violence? Ever heard of multiverse theory? That's there's infinite versions on oneself. I wonder if there are other Narutos like me who thrive on killing or others that are normal. I wish to understand death, to understand being human. Naruto sighed ruefully. I really want to experience more things with real feelings like my aura. Sleep, a voice echoed quietly in the wasteland as Naruto stumbled slightly. His eyes turned into lifeless orbs as he heard a woman's voice and closed them as he fell down next to Skeeth. The being looked down at Naruto with its only hand that is still attached. It rubbed the back of Naruto's head. Soon its hand started to enter Naruto's head. Era of Death program activated, activating understanding of death and other emotions onto Naruto. Soon the being slowly vanished as a single red drop of liquid touched Naruto's head and made him glow red. Soon the boy was being slowly raising in the air before vanished in a trail of light. In the hospital. My aura, Naruto said before slowly relaxing as he once again lay totally dead to the world. Tsunade, Lara, and Suguha's eyes widened at the two words Naruto said. Well? Lara asked Tsunade, who walked toward Naruto, touching his neck, looking at the machines and one more checking on Naruto himself. He's fine, his body might have some damage internally, but he has returned into being comatose. The blonde sadly said, I guess it was too much to hope that he would return. He's alive, let's take that at least. Lara smiled, but now do we realize we should change not the whole, but the parts? Huh? Lara looked at Suguha with smile that was wistful. It's from the epitaph of Twilight. The plan to stop the wave was messed up and they had to change it, but instead making a new one. They fixed the flaws of the old plan which worked. Why did you say that? The youngest of the females asked. I think Naruto will change and for the better. Lara smiled before preparing to leave. I'll be in Japan working with the government to get the SAO victims out. Goodbye, but next time set up an appointment. Tsunade said as she saw Lara nodding and walking away. Wait, Suguha shouted as Lara turned around. I'm sorry that I slapped you, I wanted to blame on. Stop. Lara loudly said with a mock serious smile, you're his girlfriend, right? You have the right to be angry at me. I'm not Naruto's GGG girlfriend. Suguha stuttered as she shook comically, make the two other blonde women laugh at the middle school student. After stopping, Lara patted Suguha's head, see ya. I'll call your mother to pick you up. Tsunade said, I think today was bit exciting. Okay. The young girl said as she saw Tsunade leaving the room. Suguha took a seat on Naruto's bed as the other doctors left. As she was all alone, she lay her head on Naruto's chest. Please be safe and scare me again. Huh? Naruto's lips moved once more, Sugu. Naruto. The young girl said, scared if he might be in pain again. Suguha, wait for me, promised, Naruto whispered before only the thing audible was the machines beeping in a constant rate. Suguha's eyes were crying tears of joy. Even in pain, stuck in a game of life or death, trying to be the best, still wants to keep him promised to her. Softly biting her lips, she wanted to tell him everything. However, he was not here, but she can at least do one thing. Tsunade frowned that she spent money on cold Chinese food. Well, at least Naruto is okay, Sugu. The busty blonde woman asked but quickly held her breath as she saw Suguha kissing Naruto's cheek. It was just a peck. But Suguha just held her position before slowly, I'm sorry, that wasn't right. Suguha blushed at her words and action. But I won't do that again until you wake up, Naruto. Tsunade smiled as she watched Suguha now laying her head and arms on the bed watching Naruto. Glad Jiraiya passed away. If he saw this, who knows how many smut books he will write from this little scene. She can get Suguha when her mother arrives. For now she better check on Kazuto. Maybe he is also getting an attack. If that's the case, maybe it can explain some things to her about Naruto's attack. But Alcade. Sensei. Where are you? The red-haired girl yelled as she finally got all the girls out of the dungeon. I can hear you, no need to shout. Alcade turned around to see Naruto, with his left arm now revived, but now instead of a side that he had last time, he has a red Celtic cross. When did you get that thing? It was crimson red, as if made totally out of blood like a Celtic cross. It was shaped as its namesake. A large cross-shaped weapon with a circle connection, the 4 lines at the top. She noticed that the handle said Skeeth, but it was hard to tell due to it being more like scratches than an engraving. About 20 minutes ago, Naruto said, tapping the new weapon he got. Sorry, I just got back from a powerful boss. I think it was 50 levels above me. Awesome. Alcade said with stars in her eyes. No, seriously, they are literally stars in her eyes. Did she have some skill to do that? Anyway, did you save all the girls? Naruto demanded as Alcade nodded. Yes, I have some, all of them. See, can you start? Training begins now. Naruto shouted before slapping Alcade, who didn't have time to react and was flung to a wall, leaving a hole in the size and shape of her frame before falling down. You weren't ready. Naruto deadpanned as he walked to help Alcade get back up. Well, it seems things will be interesting. Naruto watched as Alcade stood up as she tried to balance herself. Naruto looked up in the sky. After killing Skeeth, he woke up in the inn as if nothing ever happened. Now his inventory now has Skeeth's blood cross, a unique side. Quickly opening up his menu, he looks at the skill he received. Unique skill quest. Weapon Master. Master 8 different weapons. 1/8, weapons mastered. After defeating Skeeth, his side that was level 350 was now max out. HMPH, Alcade, come on, we're going to do some training. Yes, sensei. The red-haired ninja said, walking behind her teacher. But Stree. Ga. Stree painfully coughed out as the chain around her neck was finally destroyed. Mother. Please leave Naruto alone. My darling daughter, I will not. Skeeth has been killed and for some reason I can't access his data. A regal voice that belonged to a woman echoed across the room. I will end Naruto. Why? Why would you do this to the one I love? Stree cried as tears flowed down her cheeks. Mother. Because you were born, I will never allow my world and my existence to belong to you. Or, I want you to feel endless despair. The voice held hate for the girl who looked stunned. I don't care about that. I just want to be with Naruto, Stree said. You can continue to be the cardinal system, just don't hurt Naruto. Ines, you will go after Naruto, said the voice as the chain around Stree's waist glowed green. God damn you, mother, Stree brought down her head in shame. I hate you. I will be the only goddess of this world, said the voice. Chapter end. Alcade skidded on the ground with red cheeks as Naruto kicked her face when she tried to attack him. Damn, sensei, this sucks. You need to adapt, Naruto muttered stoically. Easier said than done, sensei. Alcade complained. The young man sighed inwardly as he was regretting on teaching this girl. It's been a solid 2 weeks and she hasn't gotten much progress. She believed his lie on using her skills on smithing and other mundane tasks for him, but besides that she isn't that talented with swords. I take it that you weren't the alpha girl in your school. What's that supposed to mean? Alcade scowled. Are you implying something? I meant that your movements are stiff, but your body type is good and healthy. He started noticing her frame, making the girl cover herself. But your running and other actions aren't really used beside day-to-day activities. Wow, you nailed it. How? Alcade announced, stunned at the teen's deduction at her body being logical rather than some Lyra misjudging gender crap. I used to be the captain of my middle school kendo club. Naruto stated offhandedly as he used to seeing women from the females asking for his help with their stance and help gripping their shinais. Wait, used to be? Alcade wondered before shaking her head with a mirthful smile. No wonder you can read my movements. It's nothing special. Naruto shrugged off as he really didn't care, just making sure that she knows her flaws. Get up. We're starting, or have you finally hit your wall? Are you crazy? No way am I giving up. Alcade replied, getting into a fighting stance, moving her left leg forward and her right leg slightly back. Taking out 2 short knives, as most daggers can be used with both hands for lower power but faster attacks, a twin blader style. Remember, you're primarily focusing on damage and speed, attack as many times before jumping away. That's the trick for the style you want. He announced before pulling out Skeeth's cross, holding the massive red metal with one hand. Got it? Alcade nodded before readying herself. Whenever you're ready. Come at me. Naruto stated with a dark look as Alcade moved quickly, moving almost like a ninja befitting her nickname. The young lass jumped up into the air when watching Naruto's hand barely moved. Idiot. He declared before moving back when the red-haired teen spun in midair to land a hit on the experienced boy. The blonde swung the large staff-scythe weapon as Alcade's eyes widened. She quickly twirled her blades to grip them underhanded to block the attack. Barely able to push it upwards but was sent backwards when a hard kick landed in her stomach. She however grit her teeth as she stomped her heel into the floor to jump across to slam her blade at his chest, stabbing deeply, but her face was suddenly in horror. Sensei, Naruto however kneed her stomach, making her hunch over until he pulled out a long length of rope as he quickly moved around her, then tugged on the string as she was tied into a ball. Her left arm was bent backwards, left leg was folded as it was tightly bound to her body. Her right leg was also tied to the left ankles in lotus position. She was unable to move in any way possible. Okay, how was that even possible? She deadpanned, looking around on how she was stuck in this again. Talent mostly. Naruto deadpanned as he then sliced her free, barely nicking her, making the red-haired girl sigh in relief. Get up, he ordered gently to the woman. Alcade groaned. How long are we doing this? Until you get it right. Which is when? When you get it right. You sound like that old anime with the guy who killed goblins, the self-proclaimed ninja sighed before sitting down. Can I take a break? Fine. But only for a little bit. Naruto stated as he placed his wand scythe on his back. Thank God, Alcade groaned in relief as she sprawled on the ground. I thought I was gonna die. I don't have much time until I go into the front lines to battle the next boss. He told his student as she leaned in, you're not coming, you will get killed. Oh, this sucks, all you make me do is this stupid training and slave tasks. She complained, sighing at the fact her teacher won't let her fight. Better that than you dying, Naruto added, looking up at the sky. I rather not have to waste time to fix my own weapons if she can do it. Sensei. What's up? You look like you're daydreaming. I wish to find my friend and return home for my promise, he stated before mist began surrounding them. He took notice as the odd event. Alcade, get your alcade. Naruto turned to see she was gone and he was alone in empty area. Morning, Sugu-chan. Lara smiled as she saw the busty middle schooler entering the hospital. Ever since she visits Naruto and visit to check on the SAO victims. Soon she was coming every day to keep Suguha company when her mother can't come to pick her up and took her home. Visiting your blonde prince. Huh? Oh hey, Lara. Suguha waved tiredly. Mom didn't come again. The woman frowned as she placed the young girl to a nearby bench. Okay, did you skip breakfast again? She asked, not at all pleased as she saw the girl nodding. You're killing yourself. Naruto-san is going to be fine, but he won't be happy to see you in the bed next to him when he wakes up. I'm fine, it's not that bad. Suguha weakly argued as Lara pushed her down when she tried to stand up. No, it's really bad. You need to take care of yourself more. Lara frowned with a stern look, crossing her arms. Sheesh, it's like Uncle Harold again. She muttered as the older woman pulled on Suguha's arm. We're eating before you go back to Naruto's room, your choice here are nearby restaurants. Suguha wanted to argue, but with the way Lara was scolding her now, it would be best if she complied to what she said, nearby restaurant. Alright, that leaves that Chinese restaurant or that ramen stand nearby. Lara stated as she came to the area so many times that she knows which places are close enough for. Ramen? Sorry. Lara replied as she saw a meek look from Suguha. I was thinking. Ramen, I want ramen for lunch, Suguha answered her. Didn't peg you for a ramen type of girl. She smiled, happy to see the girl answering with a want than just her eating anything. Alright, it's a 5-minute walk. She said, pushing the girl before something fell from her pocket, a small notebook that Lara saw. Picking it up, she read the title, but eyes widened at the name, The Epitaph of Twilight. Huh? Suguha looked at Lara weakly. Suguha-chan, where did you get this book? Lara asked, almost demanding in her tone. Where did you gain this book? She yelled as some of the nurses looked on as some were ready to intervene if needed, as Tsunade would do the same for Suguha. Then Naruto's room had it. I used to see him read it all the time in kendo practice until he quit. She stuttered at the frightening look that Lara gave her. It was like she was going to slap her for just having it. However, Lara nodded, taking a deep breath. I'm sorry, it's just I told you that poem is rare. She picked up, quickly skimming the pages, and closed it shut. We need to talk. They quickly left the hospital and went towards the restaurant. An awkward and uncomfortable silence hung in the air as the two got their table and waited for the ramen to come. Did Naruto handwrite this all? No copier stealing this? Yes. She said, worried look, is he in trouble? Lara sighed, shaking her head. No, he is not. But be careful, this book is like an artifact to those who read Emma's works. She placed the book down on the table after making another check, although his handwriting is beautiful, almost like calligraphy. Suguha nodded, also a bit stunned to see such fancy and well written from a person who she sat in silence at what she just thought of. He wasn't like that. You're thinking about Naruto? Lara said as the food arrived. As she spoke to the waiter, 2 orders of onigiri, chicken dumpling sandwiches, and another 2 bowls of the same ramen. She discreetly passed her credit card to the waiter, who bowed. She was going to make sure this girl was going to at least be well fed before going back to the empty room. Yes, I was thinking on the time before he became so empty to everyone. The younger girl said, remembering the first time she ever met her crush and brother figure. I see. Lara nodded. It was when she was still in primary school. She and Kazuto were forced to attend a play date with their dad's friend, Jiraiya, who had a child their own age. She saw a young boy hiding behind the leg of Jiraiya, slightly afraid of the new kids he never saw. Come on, Gaki, say hello. No need to be scared. Jiraiya said kindly to his godson, trying to ease his discomfort. Who are they? He asked, still clutching onto his guardian pants. They're your new friends. Jiraiya grinned widely at him. Don't worry. They're not gonna bite. Naruto watched as Jiraiya left the 3 kids in the living room as he didn't look at them but went to the bookcase. And pulled out a large tome, The Epitaph of Twilight, and simply read it as he sat in place. It was obvious to the 2 kids that Naruto had no interest in playing, but Suguha, being an outgoing girl, wanted to cheer him up. Hiya. I'm Suguha and this is my Ani-chan Kazuto. The little girl greeted with a bright smile. However, Naruto didn't say anything as his eyes glowed with excitement, reading the book with great delight. Kazuto was sure that book was too advanced for someone like them to read, yet Naruto was reading it like it was manga. What are you reading? Kazuto asked as he walked around and looked over Naruto's shoulder. However, Naruto just glared at the boy. No, Irojiji told me not to share this book. He said, moving a bit to reread the book, smiling sweetly as the world wasn't scary anymore. He's ignoring us. Suguha pouted, puffing her cheeks in annoyance. Naruto however started to cry, worrying the kids, even as tears fell from his face, he read the book without wiping them. Hey, what's wrong? Kazuto stuttered scared. Aura eyes he said looking up, eyes turning red and puffy from sudden leakage. Who? Kazuto and Suguha repeated in confusion. Who was this Aura? Aura people used her kindness and killed her and her family by shooting at the heavens, why would they do that? He asked clearly distraught by the news, she just got her freedom she just finally he couldn't hold it anymore, before anything else he closed the book and placed it in the correct spot. Before sliding down and began to weep once more. The Kirigaya siblings looked at each other, totally confused then back at Naruto. They had no clue what he was talking about. What exactly did he read in those pages? Suguha has never seen a kid so emotional to such a story, not even cartoons or games made her that expressive. Rider Aura died, the goddess of light and aura was tricked into giving the humans her power to kill the other gods. Lara stated as she saw the appetizers coming, just when the wave and the shadow dragon were defeated. Suguha nodded, I just read that part, it was sad. No, it was the ultimate betrayal. She saved and cared for those people, only for them to kill her when they became jealous of the gods. She slowly ate her second bowl as telling that story made her hungry. But it wasn't like it was real. Why did he cry? I cannot say, to be honest. Lara answered truthfully. Maybe her story pulled on a few heartstrings and it really hit home for him. Or wait that name. What is it? Lara looked at Suguha. Or her name sounds familiar. You just told me the story. Lara said confused on her part. No, I feel I've heard that name from somewhere else. Sorry Suguha maybe tomorrow, Aura is waiting for me. She made a fist, Aura the one person that Naruto always gave up anything for why was she so angry at this person? She shook her head hope Naruto was okay. Wham. Shit, Naruto fell on his bottom when another attack knocked him out of his spot. Every 10 seconds, he was attacked no player can do this in the mist. Had to be a boss type monster, but where was Alcade, it took a damn it. Well for him to pull his menu, but she seems okay given her health bar. Damn that girl was about to give me a heart attack he groaned. He then felt being attacked again and again. Okay, that's it. He growled, getting up and preparing for an attack, he closed his eyes and counted down 8-9. Crack. Die. Naruto, it's me. Naruto stopped midway when the mist finally lifted up to reveal a very familiar person. Aura. He yelled out as his face nearly cried at the sight of his only friend. He dropped Skeeth's wand and held her close to his body, you're safe. My Aura my shining Aura he whispered softly as Stree hugged him back. You really miss me huh? She whispered back as she let her hands roam over Naruto's back, never leave me again, she moved her lips to his ear as she said that in the most seductive tone he had ever heard. He felt his face become hot for some odd reason, but it was cast aside to feel and see his friend again. From a few feet away, Alcade saw Naruto holding a woman who she never saw before, but the problem is that woman wasn't Stree. Rather a sort of strange figure that seemed inhuman. It was sickly and tall in the shape of a woman barely. Its oily and messy hair covered her face, as its razor-sharp nails slightly adjusted ready to stab Naruto. Naruto please promise me something. It asked, the voice was just as bad as the appearance of where it came from. It was like the voice was being strangled as it spoke, the feminine tone was barely passable for it as well. Anything Naruto responded. But before the woman could say anything. Sensei, get away from her. However it was too late as she saw red dripping on the floor. Suguha and Lara were waiting in the restaurant still as it started to pour rain, geez, just when we finished the older woman stated. I guess we're stuck here for a while. Suguha replied, though having a far-off look on her face. Lara sighed as she looked at their order taker, hey any sweets here? After she got a nod, Lara nodded back as she pointed at the bill, then get us 2 of each of whatever is good. Moving her head to her younger friend the woman leaned back in her chair, so when did Naruto stop acting normal or emotional is what I meant. Well Suguha trailed off as she thought back to when it first started. Suguha stood with her family as the coffin of Jiraiya was finally buried, she turned her head to Naruto who stood there. She and Kazuto were able to finally be friends with him after many tries, but when she heard her friend's godfather died in a robbery at a bank near where they lived, she asked her parents to take her to see Naruto. But nothing could have prepared them for what they have seen. The look in his eyes were almost soulless, as if there was no light in them. His face looked absolutely mind-numbing as if the boy couldn't comprehend, let alone understand what had just happened. And when the siblings tried to talk to him, his silence was maddening. It was like he was gone. Soon people left one by one, leaving her family, Tsunade and an odd man she had never seen before. He looked at Naruto with saddened eyes speaking to Tsunade as he left, making the hospital director angry at his choice. However Naruto just shook in place, he died for nothing he said glaring at the tombstone. I know. He did not deserve that. Tsunade sighed. I was talking about his choice in saving me he was a fool for doing that. Tsunade's eyes widen at that cold reason, ludicrous, just plain ludicrous choices. The child looked at the woman, am I going to be taken to an orphanage? If so, then fine, I just hope to be left alone. Tsunade looked at the young boy, what happened to him? He used to be sunny and sweet, no you won't. You'll be living with the Kirigis. Why? Aren't you my godmother? He asked stoically as his emotionless eyes peered into her soul. I am. But Tsunade trailed off, thinking carefully of her next words. Tsunade has to work most of the day, she can't keep watch over you. Suguha's mother walked to them giving about at Tsunade for losing a close friend today. So? Jiraiya was with me and look where it got him. He looked at the ground blankly. Not like God was watching out for him. He gave a cruel smile at the truth. Naruto Suguha's mother frowned concerned. Whatever, doesn't matter in the end he's dead. At least I don't have to change my school or other annoying things. He said before turning his back, you adults go ahead, I will walk home. Naruto. It's fine. After all, he turned his head and Suguha felt fear at the dead look he had in his eyes. It made her body become colder than any icy day in the winter. She felt, this is the fate for all humans. Lara shuddered at the memory. Suguha said, I heard that crime, I didn't think Naruto was one of the kids who were there at that bank. She said, knowing that Naruto might have just mentally couldn't cope with it. So he was like that from then on? Yeah, he never smiled again. He tried to act like a big brother to me and Kazuto, but it was like he was supposed to. Like learning to say please and thank you, something obligated to do. Suguha stated as the times that she and Naruto lived were professional. She knew his kindness was because he lived there rent-free, even though he wanted to use his inheritance to pay for the years he would be living with them, yet for some reason, her mother wouldn't allow it. So he in turn does more chores than any of the family combined, cooks better than any restaurant near them, and still is an honor student. At first, they all thought this was a way he would cope after the incident, keeping himself busy all the time and having no time to rest because there was work to be done. But there he was playing a game or going outside and coming home with bruises on his body from fighting a local gang. He just floated to life until the beta test of SAO, and each day he was more happy than the last. Near the end of the testing he was almost normal. But no might be completely like a regular guy now in the game, Suguha had to admit. What kind of normal was for Naruto? Naruto smiled as he saw the broken and bloody body of the woman he loved. He chuckled as he wiped some of the red blood off his face. Sensei. Alcade rushed to her teacher, how did so? You were just playing. Huh? Oh Alcade, there you are. Naruto looked to her, smiling normally at her. So the mist did create illusions. What just happened? I just said it. He kicked the body of Stree as it screamed out, and this bitch has big stones for transforming to aura. Wait, so you were tricked? The red-haired woman said as she saw the being was still well a monster. Yeah, right now I see is Stree, although I do feel bad that I get to see her all beaten up and bleeding, he said with a sad look before stabbing the spear end of his wand into the woman's back as she screams out in pain, although I feel worse if I didn't address the problem right now. And shut up, you screaming in her voice is hurting my heart. Despite his words, Alcade took a step back from his demonic smile as he literally twisted the wound. Should I come back later? Alcade stuttered. No, we got a boss to stop. He said before lifting the cross part of the wand and splat. The woman felt vile coming up in her throat as she saw the amount of blood on the ground. Even though it was a fake world, it was just as daunting to even think it could happen in the real world. But before she could ask Naruto what he meant, a loud noise caused the most horrible pain inside her skull. Ding. Naruto closed his eyes as he also was in pain, but unlike Alcade he was still ready to fight as his smile widened. Soon when opening his eyes he saw the field he fought Skeeth in, so a rematch. He asked, taking out his bloody colored cross and look around, but didn't see the enemy. What's going on? Erg, my head. Alcade cried out. Shut up, it's just a tuning fork sound. Naruto said looking around as he moves behind Alcade to protect her, either use a teleport crystal or stand up, Skeeth is a tough guy. Boo. Then again maybe it's something else entirely. Naruto's face became as soft as if a child again, using illusions he said as he stabbed Alcade. Sensei. She said as the wand stabbed her stomach only to vanish in a cloud of mist. HMPH. He looked forward to seeing Alcade who was still clutching her head. Alcade, wake up and get behind me now. Wah. Behind me, now. Naruto ordered and Alcade quickly complied after staggering to her feet. Before Naruto grabbed her wrist and the wire he used from their training was wrapped around on his left wrist, binding the two. Whatever you do, don't cut this off. This enemy is using some kind of magic or optical illusion. We get separated and we die, understand? Magic? But there's no magic in SAO. Exactly. That's just it. Naruto replied, a mad smile on his face as he explained it further. Either it's a bug in the system or something else entirely different. What that is, I don't know. But I intend to find out. As if taking that as a challenge, the air seemed to ripple like the effect when throwing a rock into a pond. It was the oddest thing for both players to ever see in their respective lives. It looked to be some strange rock formation, with strange designs, and having webs of cracks all over its form, the spaces of color showing few patches of earth and brown, clay red, and a few patches of pink. The tablet? Alcade said as she could only try to easily explain it. Or. Who cares? Look at the name it has. Innis. The Mirage of Deceit. Phase 2. So there's more of Skeeth types here. He said before lifting a hand, the creature stone stood still as it waited for Naruto. An honor to meet you, Naruto will be killing you today, Innis prepare yourself. The teen rushed forward as he dragged Alcade, who screamed in pain when the wire sunk into her flesh, ignoring her screams. He saw the being suddenly move away from his one-handed strike with his scythe. The girl pulled Naruto to the side as she saw the being rushing at her, "Sensei. We got to leave." Naruto didn't care to hear her, he watched as the being moved back and forth the area. His eyes no longer seeing anything else but Innis, there. He swung his wand in counterclockwise spin as it smacked into the stony face of the creature. "Alcade." He ordered, throwing his arm forward, eyes twitch as the intense pain from the wire, practically slashing his wrist. The girl, despite an immense pain, the girl pulled out her tanto blade and did a diagonal slash at the being as it took it before vanishing away from the two. Gosh, she soon dropped her blade, unable to bear the pain any longer. "I didn't take any damage." "Cool." Naruto grinned darkly as his wand glowed red as they noticed the health bar finally appearing and soon lowered. "Oh," he said in deflated tone, but still got ready. Alcade soon grabbed her sword and attached to her hand, making sure that it was not fall off her hand. "You're going to help me kill this being." The girl, however, was afraid the smile he had was not something a human. Actually, it was something a human should have. It was a kind smile that had nothing but faith that this battle would be good. She wanted to leave and stay at the nearest inn, but all this time and training is why she wanted to fight. She tightened her jaw and nodded, clutching her hand to grip her tanto sword better. "Yes, sensei, I will fight beside you." The two watched as the mist rolled in the area once more, and Naruto said one thing, "Fighting blind, that was in my bucket list." "Really?" Alcade voiced echoed as the two were no longer able to see each other again, as the mist covered everything. It was almost comedic as the two had an odd conversation right before a deadly battle. "He doesn't everyone?" Naruto said, slightly alarmed that his dream was off to the girl. A large sweat drop appeared from the dispute between them, but it did not come from the two players. Error of death program percentage. 5%. Chapter end. "I wonder if Naruto is okay," Suguha said, walking slowly back to the hospital with Laura also coming, knowing that she'll have to drive the young girl home. "You sure talk about him more than Kazuto-kun," Laura said with a smile, lightly teasing the girl as she blushed. "Well, I guess it's because lately, Kazuto-Naichin has been distant lately. We used to be close like any other siblings, you know. But Naruto was there for me, and it wasn't like the obligation he does for me and Kazuto, as I said earlier, it was real." Laura interjected as she guessed, knowing the boy's personality from Suguha. "Might I ask how? I really want to know what stood out from what you told about the regular Naruto." The young girl nodded before looking at the ground, digging deep into her memories for the first sign of Naruto's real and true decisions that he made. "It all started when." Flashback. "When I was probably still unable to beat anybody in kendo." The young Suguha, around the age of 8, watches Naruto completely push back her grandfather with great haste and joy that was present on his face. However, the older man only falter as the young man was actually slowing down from his predictable and easy to counter attacks. Naruto stops with the rush attacks. "You must." He stops when he sidestep away and swung down his sword. "Attack when your opponent loses his." "As if." The young boy said, falling deeper until his free hand touched the wooden floor and pushed him off to barely escape. He saw his uncle's upside down shock look before swinging his shinai at the man's side of his head. And quickly let go of his weapon to use both hands to safely push him back to his normal position, then grabbing the blade once more. He took a single step and shouted, "Hiya!" and hit his grandfather's stomach. All of this was so fast that even the experienced man was wondering if that truly happened. Naruto might have angered others who had for his tricks. But the older opponent simply stood up, albeit with a slight misstep, and patted his grandchild's shoulders. Before pointing a finger at him, "You might not want to do that in a real match." Walking away as the blonde face became stoic and slightly annoyed. "Then what's the point of fighting?" He lifted his hands before moving towards the young class. Both young gender children all smiled and cheered on Naruto as he beat the hardest members of the kendo dojo. He sat in an informal way, left leg cross in lotus style, while the other was straight slightly away. The blonde turned to see Kazuto fidgeting as he saw the last match seems to have been a difficult time for him, despite being the better, although Naruto tricks and style could be Kazuto if he was allowed to, swordsman. And Naruto Suguha asked as she saw the new member of the family lazily turned his head to her, seeing that she had a water bottle that she always packed for him and her brother to use. "No thanks, no reason to drink if I barely took a sweat," he said coolly as the girls around him swoon and the boys beam at his lack of emotions. Suguha looked down as she heard his but thanks though in the perfect kind voice that held no real love. She misses the old days she and him used to read his weird books when he finally got to know them. But now he was this cold and unmoving person that took over the kind and funny Naruto, the one who always. Sugu. We kinda have to move from this point in time at some point in our time. Sorry. Anyways, the adults all bowed as they reached their decisions and her grandfather stood in front of them. We reached a conclusion, Kazuto and Naruto will be co-captains for this team. Oji-senai. Kazuto. Naruto whispered with a warning tone in his words, but nonetheless his brother continued forward. I don't want to continue practicing kendo. In the moment I blinked but it was enough to know that I didn't want to see what transpired. Naruto stood in front of Kazuto, his head turned to the side as the older man was huffing out deep breaths. Suguha eyes widened and slightly shook on her spot as Naruto's hands went around his jaw and something snapped as he growled in pain. Fuck that hurt, listen you old bag of bones. Naruto stop, this is. And you too emo punk. Kazuto gave an odd look at Naruto at that insult, emo. I don't these idiots, I can handle any opponent and perfectly to prove it. Naruto said making sure to sneer at Kazuto when saying that. 5-on-1, deal. If I manage to get at least 4 of you out, you leave him to do what is it you want to do. He turned back with an exasperated look from doing more than what he has to. Whatever deal. He said as the grandfather looked at Naruto as if he was going to strike again, only for Naruto to move forward with dark glare at the man. Hit me again or my siblings, I tell my their mother. And she doesn't rip off your dusty and wrinkling ballsack from your groin, you better believe I will. That came out wrong. He looked down with a small scowl on his failed threat, but nonetheless peered at the older male eyes to show how serious he was. You have 10 minutes to take what you said or we will go through with this. The grandfather of Kazuto and Suguha said before stomping away. Shit, why did I do that for? Naruto whispered as the kids group around him as they begged him not to do it or praise his heroic ways. I was going to ask if I can go home early. Naruto. The blonde turned to Kazuto who shook his fists that were at his side. Why did you do that? I didn't need. Naruto simply walked up to the kid and flicked his forehead, something he used to do before Jiraiya died. Idiot, it's because you actually went through with it. Granted I kind of expected the old man to flip out. But I figure why not? Gotta piss him off at some point. I hate acting like this perfect grandson shtick. Just because you wanted to. Kazuto started to yell before Naruto pulled him into a hug, silencing him, but what really surprised him was that later Suguha had told him that he was smiling sincerely. Know that you were going to stand up for what you want to. My own bro often said that he was told to visit me more, but he ignored them not because he hates me, but because he wanted to provide for me. I mean sure I barely remember the now, but I felt that kindness when the Irojiji told me. He let go of Kazuto as his stoic face nearly cracked. When his lips seemed to suppress the act to smile. So taking the heat is what a brother is for, right? Kazuto couldn't help but chuckle, his arm moving up his face to wipe his eyes. Shut up, despite the rude words, Naruto could tell that Kazuto was joking with him. I am older. What? Shut up. Naruto pointed at his brother with a glare. I am at least mature in the mind here. Oh yeah, that sounds convincing. Wanna fight about it? I got one match left in me. Soon the grandfather watched as both Naruto and Kazuto were battling in the most amazing match, 15 strikes at the same time cancelling each other point until Kazuto won when Naruto collapsed from no longer able to keep up. Lara hit a button on a vending machine, slightly bewildered at the story, so I'm guessing that the old geezer let Kazuto off the hook. Yeah, he saw that Kazuto could only shine when Naruto was there to motivate him. Then the two became close friends until Naruto stopped when Suguha glared at the floor. Lara took the beverage she got from the machine, Sao beta test. No, Suguha spat out in bitterness, making Lara raise an eyebrow at the tone. Naruto and Kazuto played that game, then me and mom would always complain about how they always made notes and gave advice for each area. Floors. Suguha corrected herself before she gripped her hands into fists until Lara appeared when Naruto met her. It was all he could talk about. He stopped talking to Kazuto about the game, stopped training with me outside to improve my kendo, and spent any free time in that game. I hated that. Okay, take a deep breath. Lara comically raised her hand, moving forward using the universal hand gesture for calm down. Who is Aura? Oh right, the hacker. Hacker? That's what the government officials stated when I told them what I found. No evidence on how she and Naruto got copies for the online version, but that means that Aura will be placed under investigation or jail time, depending on how severe the action was to them. Lara said even though she is technically involved with Sao, it seems a bit much for a crime. Then again it's almost as if sending someone to their death, but yet again she didn't know it was really a death game. Right, Suguha said as she saw nurses dashing forward. Wait. Stop, Lara started with a hand on her friend's shoulder. It might be something else, Tsunade would have gotten the rest to help. Right, the young girl said, wondering what is Naruto doing now. In the air Naruto, along with Alkaid being still tied to his arm, kicked an odd demon humanoid monster before moving his arm that had the girl around the beast. Hold it tight. Alkaid did what her teacher said before feeling the world spun to see Naruto grab onto it and spin them into the earth. Let go. He demanded as she did, making them kill the enemy as it shattered into pixels. Not that one either, he said as they spent the last hour or more killing monsters that can from the mist that Ines made. In the mist they faced their greatest fear, that being for Alkaid these odd demonoid monsters. Since Naruto really doesn't have fears, they were able to rely on his actions as the young girl couldn't stand to look at them. There. Naruto screamed, throwing his red cross he earned from Skeeth to an empty. Crash. Return. Naruto pulled his arm to show the wire was also attached to his wand, enjoying himself as he took another huge amount of damage from Ines. Now he understands the style. Ines swarms the enemies with their worst fears, then attacks when they are gone, but since Naruto took them down, it allows him to attack Ines, who was most likely summoning more. I can't keep up, Alkaid gasped as they spent who knows how long in this hellish battle. I can't. Then fine, Naruto said as the mist slowly vanished, showing Ines whose health bar was almost gone. She is a glass cannon, she sends groups of monsters to prevent her own death. Too bad though. The scythe user said as he saw the mist vanished as Ines' body stone sculpture. Ah fuck it. The monster was on the ground before slowly turning into light, shifting into a new shape. Get behind me. Soon the being took the shape of a woman standing in front of them. She had long golden colored hair and a long ponytail, with an odd headpiece holding together in the shape of two diamonds. Alkaid blushed as the woman's body was near perfect goddess-like proportions, despite her breast being a solid B-cup, the supermodel-like thininess of her body, the slender waist, tall stature, only highlighted her beauty. And against the poor Retide's face lit up when she finally noticed the attire the woman was wearing. The top of her body, i.e., her shoulders and barely the upper part of her breasts, were covered in a skin-tight white robe, well connected to a extremely small cloth that covered her midsection vertically, and her privates and flow out. Alkaid was bit relieved to see that there a back part to it, as she saw another flowing end of the dress, so she wasn't bare in the rear at least. She had a sleeve covering her arms with white gloves on her hands. The last and odd thing was her facet, he couldn't see it due to the blue metal ring spinning over her eyes. All they could make out was two tear lines going down in perfect vertical and symmetrical fashion, with painted red lips. But to Naruto more main concern was that in her right hand was a sheath for a sword, and the way she held meant the woman knew how to use it. Oh god, Alkaid squeaked, still stunned by the unearthly beauty before them. Okay, that's a little distracting, Naruto muttered. Well, he admits that around Aura, he only saw her beauty as the most prettiest thing in the world, felt slightly ashamed to even take a second look at the new monster. Soon he readied his weapon, Skeeth's wand, to a defensive stance. What are you? He said, now really disturbed out. Special event monsters were one thing, but changing to human NPC was another. Static, the woman's mouth moved for only the two teens to cover their ears from the loud sound of static. As she watched the two struggle to listen to her words until she saw Naruto close his eyes. In fluid motion she rushed towards them while unsheathing her blade, smiling darkly as she swung from her left side. Look out. Alkaid shouted, despite the screeching still being loud. With his eyes now wide open, Naruto blocked the attack with Skeeth's wand. Slash. Naruto's eyes widened as he saw the blade. Ines's blade wasn't a katana, nor any kind of Eastern-style blade. It looked high-tech. The handle was all black, save for a rectangular guard in black and gold. Near the pommel was spinning and glowing objects. Now here's where the high-tech part comes in. Instead of a hilt there was swirling massive energy, generating a series of energy-generated rectangular blades. What in it can't be, he muttered out in disbelief. The generated blades were connected only with a small space between them. How she got through it, and now the blades on his chest, must have been the reason it went through his scythe weapon. The woman let out another static noise of a screech as it pushed its weapon against Naruto, the latter grunting in difficulty, feeling his strength being overwhelmed. But instead of killing him, she grasps his head as green energy seems to come into her hand. Perfect. She said, with actual words coming out from her mouth until backing away when Alkaid came in to slash at her, only for Ines to retreat back. Stay away from him. Alkaid snapped before looking back to her teacher. Sensei, are you alright? She asked worriedly. Naruto's eyes flared up with rage. Why did I see that? Ines's smile grew wider as she tilted her head to the side. Skeeth underestimated you and appealed to your warrior spirit. Morgana ordered me to end you, and what better way than with a mirage from your past? Morgana, Naruto questioned until it hit him. During Sao Beta test. Naruto was listening to Aura play the violin once more, peacefully enjoying it until the girl sighed. Great playtime is over, she pouted, dismissing the hacked item as she sat next to Naruto, who was laying down on the ground. What is it, Lady Aura? Naruto said, sitting up to see her, blushing face before pulling out a pillow at his face. What did he do to make her do that? Stop calling me that. It's embarrassing. Aura cutely frowned at the boy, often calling her that. Why not? It suits you. Naruto tilted his head in confusion. It's that my dad already treats me like a goddess princess, my mother adores me, and she trailed off looking dim than her usual bright self. My stepmom, Morgana, treats me like I'm not worth it. Father plus daughter plus mother plus stepmother equals. Is not working. Boom. Holy crap. Aura screamed out as Naruto's hair suddenly caught on fire. What happened? And comprehend, he said, eyes twitch at what she said, so you have 3 parents. Aura nearly let out a laugh. Of course he would think that actually she will let that slide. Not really, dad's kinda of an asshole. My real mother, the one who named me, died a long time ago, he told me. Aura, you are my and Emma's daughter, even though he was sleeping with his girlfriend. Naruto nodded slowly, getting a solid idea on what's going on. Aura is a child from a previous marriage. And the stepmother is a back mom at the very least, but from what Aura says hates you. Pretty much. Ahaha. Aura weakly smiles. I mean, being called a mistake from a one-night stand is pretty fine with a scorned woman, right? She spouted out, missing Naruto's look of pain. Oh, we're being glared like a monster every morning. Aura, Naruto muttered sadly. The white-haired girl shook her head. It's fine, I'm used to it, not like everyone is going to like mime, just a fake. She stopped as Naruto grasped her body into his arms. She felt something off. She was moving slowly, eyes he trembling. You're not a monster, don't let anyone else tell you that. He pulled her away to gaze into her cool sky blue eyes. Before moving a hand to wipe a digital tear from her face, if you ever feel like that. Remember, I like you. Smooth, Naruto, you can break lots of girls' hearts back, girl, but you can't confess your feelings for a beautiful woman. He berated his lack of drive to say what he usually says. Oh okay, Aura stuttered, gazing into Naruto's eyes before they leaned forward. Okay, what the hell? Alcade said as she saw both Naruto and Inosu's noses bleed. Why are you sexting? She screamed, knowing the reason that some more married couples that didn't die off or got hitched in game were used to sending kinky stuff via private messaging. Wait, what? No. Naruto shouted. I didn't know Lady Aura was into you, Ina said, losing her smile to wipe her nose. Naruto Uzumaki, son to Kushina Uzumaki, and to the father he barely remembers. One sibling, slight estrage, well, he contacts you, the two of you never actually met after your parents' death. Currently the #1 kendo winner of all of Japan, and lastly the student of former shinobi Jiraiya. Naruto lost any feelings as his anger flared up again. Don't speak of him, as if you know him. Ines nodded. You're right, would you like to speak to him? She said, raising her blade and stab herself with it. Shocking the two teens as her health to 0. Shinobi? As in a ninja. Suguha nodded as her adult friend Lara and her were sitting in the small park in the hospital, usually for patients who want to breathe fresh air. Yeah, Jiraiya Jiji was a real shinobi from my mother's own mouth. Although he was arrested many times for peeping. Lara simply sipped her hot chocolate, trying not to give a deadpan look. To her credit, she tried to look away. You can be slightly disappointed. I think Naruto was the most even. He realized that Jiraiya used him as a lookout or an excuse to sneak him to the women's bath. Suguha said, feeling slightly bad for Naruto as he looked sullen for learning what his godfather did. Naruto went along with his sensei's antics. Lara asked. He was a kid. Suguha said before smiling, though once you get past that little fault. He was a nice man, a little strict when teaching Naruto his family secrets. But a real gentleman for married women and young girls, treats young boys like a funny uncle. But he passed away during a bank robbery, Lara said to herself before a look of realization. Doesn't that mean? Yes, Suguha nodded sadly as she looked down at the ground. That's when he became who he is. Cold. Suguha vividly remembered the funeral on how cold Naruto was. Hello, Jiraiya. Yes. A male voice cried out, a red wooden sandal clap on the ground twice as a man with sterling white hair hop when doing so, then using his right foot forward, he rolled his head in an exaggerated manner. The once dead shinobi of the technological modern world has returned. Jiraiya of the Sannin is here. Ooh. Naruto could only stare in shock and disbelief. This couldn't be right. Jiraiya, the Iro Sennin, was dead. He can't be here. Well, Naruto, it's good to see you again. The man said, walking towards the boy until he stopped. I guess you still don't believe it's me, huh? No, I don't. Naruto shook his head as he got in a stance. The Iro Sennin I know is already dead. You may look like him, but you're not him. So don't try to fool me. Well, to be honest, me too. Jiraiya scratched the back of his head, but dying with a gunshot wound to the stomach and also telling me that the last words I said only got a ludicrous was kind of foreboding. The man said with a frown. That word only Jiraiya heard it, it really is you. Haha yup. The super pervert of this age is alive. Okay, I am so confused. Alkaid said, both hands on her head. First I am questioning my sexuality, then this weird old man came out and now is what your dad. She looked at her sensei for some semblance of understanding. Godfather. Naruto said before Jiraiya pulled him to headlock. Gah. Oh ho ho, you're like the old man of yours. Redeeds, get your engine running, huh? The old man said as Naruto tried to pull away. First Suguha fills out well, Aura as a lovey-dovey, and now a feisty blog. The man was comically blown away when Naruto first went into his sternum. Nice punch, he groaned out before dramatically hitting the ground. Shut your damn trap, hero Jiji. Naruto blushed red at his godfather saying those things. You're building up a nice harem, he wheezed. Stomp. 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 Die, die, die. Naruto said before grabbing Alkaid and using her as a makeshift bat. Die. Why am I being used as a biot? Wabam. Ooh. Jiraiya sang the highest note he could sing, that was somehow out of his voice range when the makeshift Alkaid bat hit between his legs. Ugh, gross. Alkaid said when Naruto let her go as she slapped her hair when her head made contact from the hit. Jiraiya laid on the floor as Naruto tried to catch his breath as emotions were making him too exhausted. I'm really happy you're okay. Jiraiya suddenly spoke, a relaxed look on his face. Although, he stood up with a sad look. But I'm not glad you're this Uchiha type of person. Where's the Naruto I raised? Emotional, bright, love being an idiot but not really one, and who took his Shinobi's training like a fish to water. You died. That's what happened. And you became cold. Jiraiya softly stated matter-of-factly, his eyes becoming soft from his child being such a sad outcome, only caring for Aura. Well, I understand you love her. But that doesn't mean you cut off other ties, you have family, boy. He yelled out in anger. They never understood me like she did, Naruto muttered. Alkaid stood there a bit scared of the serious conversation. When you died, when I killed that robber to defend myself, watching a little girl bawl her eyes out. It made me realize traditional ways of fighting are useless. He brought out his sword and stabbed the wand into the ground. And I'll prove it. So you're going to kill me, Jiraiya said as he pulled out a kunai, you've changed for the worse. He sadly whispered, readying his weapon. If it's to rid me of the memory that's been haunting me then so be it. Naruto said coldly. Sensei, don't, this isn't like fiction. Alkaid tried to persuade her friend, only a glare from him caused her to back down. The young man pulled out his savage truth, a Japanese katana with the back of it having jagged teeth. His usual weapon, due to mastery of choice, is a scythe, but now he had to beat Jiraiya in his own way. Naihin, Japanese, weapons. I'm done clinging onto the past, it's time I moved on. Naruto said, and without a signal, he charged towards the man he once called Godfather. Jiraiya threw the kunai, shocking the young man as he barely deflected it, watching the Sannin jump in the air and brought it down on him. Naruto quickly made his blade block it until the older male used a defense to flip himself over while doing a somersault kick to Naruto's chin. But the young man smiled, twisting his arm upwards to nick at Jiraiya's arm. Naruto health 95%. Jiraiya. Health 99%. Jiraiya then flipped backwards to land on his feet, looking at his wound with a frown. You were better than this. The old me wouldn't have gotten a hit, Naruto spat out, with some blood leaving his lips. Suguha swallowed her saliva when Krebs' nurses were heading to the Sao victim's ward. Oh no. What's wrong? Lara looked at the girl concerned. And Naruto. She said as Lara took her hand and led her back down the bench. Or Lara said with a soft smile. They all are having problems, take a deep breath. She suggested, knowing Tsunade would rather have her talking to Suguha than with Naruto like he was suffering that one time. Let's talk more about. Tsunade says Naruto is crashing. One of the nurses yelled, causing Suguha to stand up. Whoops, she meekly said as the other doctors and nurses glared at her. Naruto cried out as Jiraiya kicked to the ruins floating near him, not down yet. Naruto. Health 40%. Jiraiya. Health 65%. The young man dodged a strike from Jiraiya, he was now disarmed, or rather chose to not use weapons. Is that all you got? Jiraiya asked. What the hell are you trying to do? Naruto picked himself up, gripping his stomach. It felt like he was really taking damage. Compared to Skeeth and Innes, he feels heavy. He leaned back when Jiraiya closed with a finger jab to his next. All his moves were based on pressure point strikes. Even if this was in a virtual world, Naruto couldn't risk some kind of paralysis status effect or some kind of psychological effect to screw him over. The man closed his hands in what he called a hand sign, rushing towards Naruto. The young man's eyes widened in fear before watching. Jireya's hands were sent out in a quick manner, soaring out when Naruto misjudged the wrong side to defend. Jireya's hid an ace in his sleeves, the ninja art of deception, using the hand sign gesture to confuse or make his opponents lose their guard for him to take advantage of that moment. Then he swung his arm to hit Jiraiya, who grabbed his arm, but Naruto pulled himself to flip over the man to barely hit him, but the older man jumped to land on Naruto when both came down on the floor. Gah! Naruto cried before twisted off Jiraiya, but the man quickly rushed and got on top of Naruto, forcing his forearm into his mouth and forcing it down. His free arm pinned Naruto's other, while the young's last one was underneath him. He was completely unable to move. "Forgive me, Kushina," Jiraiya muttered before using his free arm to let go quickly to slam his fist into Naruto's ribs. "Well, this is a game. In this world, this area will feel the bones actually breaking from my hits. I will kill you, do you hear me?" Naruto's eyes glowed red as he tried to bite the arm only to yelp when his ribs started to crack. Is this it? But Suguha. Naruto. She cried into his room as Tsunade glared at the sheepish-looking staff before pulling the girl away. "Isn't feeling too much pain. We up his painkillers since last time, he is only feeling like a very intense fever dream." Tsunade said, watching Naruto sweat and whimper. It was hard for her to watch this. She lost her beloved boyfriend Dan before she met Jiraiya, and he was slowly helping her through her painies. He wanted to sleep with her, but he truly cared for her well-being before trying to get in her pants. And no one would. Jiraiya. She snapped her neck to her and looked at Suguha to wonder if she heard too, and she paled as the middle schooler's face looked pale as well. What is going on? With Naruto. Naruto's eyes glazed over. He wasn't sure how much HP he had. Left 5. 10. He would look at the HUD butte. It was pointless. He had nothing left to fight, being pinned to the point of unable to fight back. Why did he want to be strong again? Wow, it seems like another lifetime ago did he become strong. Wraith was scared. It played this lie that he was an unfeeling weapon that had no other way to live but to act like he was strong. In truth was. Grrrrrr. Jiraiya looked down to see Naruto suddenly biting his arm. His eyes seemed confused before widening to large proportions. While retreating, he didn't. He saw the free arm Naruto had was where his crotch was in a tight vice grip position. "You were aiming at my testicles," he said in utter shock. "Well, a ninja, there are some things a guy will not do to another guy." But yet a smile came into his lips. "Hey Miss Shaw's Naruto fought dirty yet?" The girl watched, unable to move as she nodded, and no, sensei fights fair to normal people. Although she hasn't seen him kill PKs, so she couldn't say for that, as other players agree tricks were necessary to kill them for saving their own lives. Alright, he watched as Naruto charged towards him, causing the older man to throw his right fist, but when Naruto took the hit into his face, he grabbed it. Jiraiya only heard alarm bells go off as he pulled back in time before Naruto had a good hold on it. He turned his body to send his other fist at the teen's chest, sending flying. "He took a punch to snap my arm. Okay, something's off," the Sannin stated with calculating eyes. Naruto fought dirty if needed, but below the belt and joint destruction. Jiraiya always tried to beat it in dire moments, but for him to do it now was making the man think was coming back. He went forward fast as he blocked another hit, only for Naruto to leap in place to hit his jaw with a hard knee. "I won't lose." Naruto screamed out, "I won't be afraid of my death." Soon as those words left, Naruto's body was lit with red lines all over his body. He shouted, rushing forward as his fist glowed bright red. "Won't lassie." Alcade closed her eyes, unable to watch the scene, only for nothing to come from that direction. Slowly she gazed to see Naruto stop short of his attack, visibly shaking before falling to his knees. He looked up to see the confused Jiraiya. "I was so scared when you died," he said as the man looked down in slight sadness. "I thought if Jiraiya did, then I always believed you were unbeatable." No one said anything as Naruto stood still and lowered his head. "Yeah, we're my goal, to be as gallant and cool like you. But I got scared thinking if I tried to." He stopped, ashamed of what he would say. But the older man nodded to his reasons and looked down at the teen. The white-haired man spoke in a soft but caring tone. "You thought being uncaring was something to protect yourself," he said softly, lowering himself to his knees to grasp the trench shoulders with his hands. "Naruto, it doesn't mean you're supposed to become less than human. Fear helps us become what we are, and deceit yourself from your humanity." He looked up to see the smiling face of his godfather. Something unlocked in his heart. Tears finally fell from his cheeks, like someone finally allowing Naruto to cry from his godfather's death so many years ago. A sound of glass breaking made him look up to see Jiraiya doing something unexpected. He stabbed himself with his kunai, smiling like a kind man would for his son. "Fight for the right reasons, Naruto, for them and yourself," he said lastly, before a grim look came to his face. Also, as his body started to break down, Naruto's body went cold after the next words left his guardian's mouth. "Be wary of the one who controls the curse wave." Alcade's eyes blink as she and Naruto are back in town, watching people passing by them. Turning to her teacher, she saw he was wiping his tears away. Soon her eyes gazed at what he held. It was a green and white mace. It was long white staff with green crystals around an emerald ring, and the end had a sharp edge of another green crystal. He grabbed it tight before looking at Alkaid, and her heart beated faster as his eyes weren't closed off to the world. There was emotion to them, a fire in them. Alkaid, I'm not going to lie, was using you as a way for me to compensate for things I can't do, but not anymore. He said, his face now harder and serious. If you let me, I will make you stronger than now. The girl felt a flare of anger at being tricked, but the fact he came clean made her decide her choice. You swear? The young man nodded as the girl only nodded to him. He placed his new weapon in his hazy wand, smiling before looking at the HUD time, and walked ahead, then turned. Come, we got a boss to help beat. He told Alkaid as she immediately followed him, smiling as they walked down, ready and invigorated in their path. But Stree. The RRTZ, crack. Stree gained more life as the chain around her waist shattered completely as she spoke. Skeeth, the strongest lost in us, tried to use Jiraiya against Naruto for the memory to be real and not a falsehood. A rare smirk of cockiness appeared. For an AI, you're pretty bad at doing your job of analyzing players. GRK. The girl bit her teeth hard when electricity zapped her body from the remaining chains as she still made a smile. Why, you just send the rest and Naruto would beat them. You forgot sometimes to kill a general, you kill his horse. Stree was finally free from the pain as she felt worried for Naruto. What did this monster have in store for him? She looked at her chains. It was a risky idea, but she needs 2 more to be gone before she can think about it doing it. Error of death program percentage. 15%. Mirage of deceit program activated, activating understanding humans' reactions to deceit and emotions onto Naruto. Chapter end. What if Naruto X Suguha Sword Art Online end here, and thanks for watching my video till the end.